And you join together talented student athletes with great
this past week, great work week in the weight room, on the practice field, all right, in the film study. Now, gentlemen, it's time to get paid. It's time to get paid.
This is ESPN College Football presented by McDonald's. The 2011 Florida Classic from the Florida Citrus Bowl. The Rattlers from Florida A&M and the Wildcats from Bethune Cookman for the 32nd time in this rivalry. And those Rattlers from Florida A&M getting ready to take the field here at the Citrus Bowl.
Please welcome Coach Joe Taylor and the 2011 Florida A&M Rattlers.
The tradition and history of this classic game as we approach kickoff. Under cloudy skies, here are the standings in the MEAC. You see Norfolk State has already clinched with its 7-1 record. They have earned the automatic bid to the football championship subdivision playoffs. But Bethune-Cookman has won 5 in a row. Florida A&M has won 4 in a row. Great to have you with us for our game this afternoon. Tom Wormy along with former NFL quarterback Jay Walker. And Jay, as we look at those standings, both of these teams really need this victory to improve their resumes for postseason play. And oh yeah, this is the biggest rivalry game they'll play all season.
It's got everything that you look for in a college football game. You saw the records. Postseason berth is on the line. Whoever wins this game has an opportunity to advance to the FCS playoffs. The loser, their season's over. What better way to defeat your in-state rival than ending their season here on the field today?
It was Bethune-Cookman to get that automatic bid last year as the champion out of the MEAC, but they lost their final regular season game against Florida A&M. Here they come out of the tunnel. All right, Jay, as we dig deeper into this game, you find a freshman quarterback, Damian Fleming, for the Rattlers. He has started 6 games. He's won 5 of them.
And since he's been the starter, the Rattler offense has really taken off. The coaches really like his poise and his composure. They say he does not play like the true freshman that he really is. Well, that will be tested here today. On the season, he's really protected the football. He completes the ball in 61% of his passes. But the key for him is going to be to stay composed. How does a true freshman handle this type of environment with 70,000 fans playing in an in-state rivalry game? That's going to be the key to victory for the Rattlers today. If they can protect Damian Fleming from a very aggressive Bethune-Cookman defense, which is led by their All-American defensive end, Ryan Davis. Ryan Davis from Bethune-Cookman will probably be the Defensive Player of the Year in the MEAC Conference. And you can see the numbers right there. He is quite simply a beast on the football field. An active defensive end that has NFL scouts drooling about his pass rushing ability and the ability to stop the pass as well. He's got 11 tackles for losses on the season. 11 sacks to go along with the 20 tackles for losses. Quite simply put, he makes a living in the other team's backfield.
Both of these teams come in with records of 7-3 and 5-2 in the MEAC. As we documented, Norfolk State has already won that championship, but Bethune-Cookman defeated Norfolk State earlier this year, Jay.
And that was probably the signature win for this Bethune-Cookman program. They really did a good job in getting that victory to keep their season alive.
Jay, time to go down to the field for the traditional President's Rally Cry from the Rattlers and the Wildcats.
I want to welcome you to the 32nd Blue Cross Blue Shield of Florida Classic. I want to thank Blue Cross Blue Shield of Florida our title sponsor, and all of our sponsors for their support of this game. I also want to thank Florida Central Sports for hosting us. And now, are there any Rattlers in the house? First, I want to congratulate Dr. Julian White on receiving the Distinguished Service to Music Medal presented by Kappa Kappa Psi, the fraternity's highest award. And I also want to acknowledge the stars of the McDonald's halftime show, the world-renowned Marching 100 of Florida A&M University. And now, Rattlers, it's time to shake, rattle, and roll when the dark clouds get on the horizon. Thunder and lightning pierce the skies. When fate is but a glint in the eye of a fallen rattler and hope for lost friends. When the sinew of the chest grows weary from those hard-charging linebackers and the muscles in the legs grow tired from those hard-charging running backs, you must always remember the Rattlers will strike and strike and strike again. Let's go, Rattlers.
Good afternoon. On behalf of Chairman Penfield, all the Board of Trustees, the faculty and staff and students of the great Bethune Cookman University, I bring you greetings. I thank you for the Blue Cross Blue Shield and all the sponsors. And what I have to say to the Rattlers is as follows. Maroon and gold rises from the east as the mighty Wildcats prepare for a white Rattler feast. Out of the beauty from day to night emerges the Wildcat Nation ready to win today's fight. When the moonlight shines its magic to the ground, just listen up for the roar of the Wildcat sound. Hail Wildcats! Hail Wildcats! Hail Wildcats! And to the most wonderful marching Wildcat band, they're the best in the nation. The Wildcat football team will show up and show out. I guarantee it. Go Wildcats!
Look at the history between these two teams, which dates back all the way to 1925, and you can see, Jay, that Florida A&M with a commanding lead in the series and has won 5 of the last 6 and the last 3 in a row.
And I think that's very surprising when you think about the history, and recently it's really intensified. I'm very surprised that Florida A&M has that big advantage, but at the end of the day, Bethune Cookman has narrowed the gap.
Brian Jenkins is the second-year head coach for Bethune Cookman. All he did was win his first 10 games last season. Has his team at 7-3. They participated in the football championship subdivision playoffs a season ago. Across the way, it is Joe Taylor. 4th year at Florida A&M, Jay, but 29th overall. He has 229 career victories. That is 3rd most among active football championship subdivision coaches.
And what people don't realize is in 2008, when he led the Rattlers to a 9-3 record in his first season at the helm, it was the most successful season in a first-year coach at Florida A&M, along with the legendary Jake Gaither.
Bethune Cookman won the toss, elected to defer. Florida A&M will receive the opening kickoff. That bounces. Then taken out of bounds. So the Rattlers, Peter Tulloch. First possession of the game for Florida A&M. We touched upon the freshman Damian Fleming, who'll wear number 7 in orange and green for the Rattlers. He goes 6'3", 181 from Jacksonville, Florida, in the victory at North Carolina Central last week. 186 yards through the air and a couple of TD passes for Fleming. To the ground right away for that Rattler attack. Time to take a look at the impact players involved in our game, Tariq McBurse, who has been dinged up a little bit, missed the last 2 games, Jay, but he's in there tonight.
Tariq McBurse is a transfer from Purdue University. Expect big things from him. And Kevin Elliott, the senior wide receiver, he's constantly come up with the big catch time and time again in his career. And we talked about Ryan Davis, but Ryan Lewis was the preseason MEAC selection for Defensive Player of the Year. Very active at the linebacker position.
2nd and 4 for A&M. Quarterback keeps it, and he is dropped immediately. Bethune Cookman defense, led by Reggie Sandilands, but there is a penalty marker. Second play from scrimmage, and we will hear from our lead official today, Fleming Williams.
We have 2 fouls on the play. We have a personal foul against the offense, number 27. We have a personal foul against the defense, number 23. These fouls are set, replay, 2nd down.
So with the offsetting penalty, that's something that you see in these type of games. When the rivalry builds up and the intensity level is so great on the field, teams seem to play a little bit longer than after the whistle blows. Whichever team can calm their nerves first and play their style of football can jump out to an early advantage.
So we'll do it again on 2nd and 4 for this Rattler team, 7-3, 5-2 in conference, and we get whistles before the play can develop. Brian Jenkins, the MEAC Coach of the Year last season, took this program.
Both fouls were dead ball fouls. We have 3rd down.
So they have adjusted the down, and we'll call it 3rd and 4 after the offsetting personal fouls.
One of the things that Coach Joe Taylor wanted to do in this football game was, because he's got a true freshman quarterback, really wants to rely on the running game in the early portions of this game until Fleming can find a grasp and feel comfortable out there.
So there is still some discussion about the spotting of the football. They will put it just beyond the 30-yard line. So it is now 3rd and 6. Fleming from the shotgun. Wants to go deep. Overshoots his man. Incomplete as he was looking for Kevin Elliott, number 5. So that'll bring on the punting unit for Florida A&M.
One of the stories of this game is going to be, how are they going to get to Damian Fleming? You see there, they bring a linebacker stunt, bringing their blitzing linebackers, Reggie Sandilands, to go along with Ryan Davis. So early, they've established what they're going to try and do. Get to the quarterback by applying pressure, not allowing the true freshman to get comfortable in the pocket.
Preston Fleckley retreating after the punt from Holgren. He falls down at the 10, and he picks it up inside the 10. So a brave play by Fleckley inside his own 10-yard line as he stumbled down. A punt of 61 yards and just 2 on the return. We also have a penalty marker. And you see number 5 right there is Jackie Wilson. He will be the starting quarterback for Bethune Cookman. As we've seen in the past, the Wildcats usually make their decision on a starting QB, roughly 45 minutes before the game starts sometimes.
And that's because Coach Jenkins' philosophy is to really judge each quarterback practice by practice basis. And whoever has the highest grade.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness on the kickers. 15 yards from the end of the run. 1st down.
So the personal foul, the indication was that it was on the kicking team, which would be Florida A&M.
1st down.
And now they have corrected it and said the personal foul is against Bethune Cookman. So everybody's got the butterflies for this rivalry game, Jay.
They've got to calm down, play football, Two very good football teams, very evenly matched.
So from their own goal line, Isidore Jackson gets the carry. Time for the impact players with the Wildcats on offense, Jay.
Transfer running back Rodney Scott has really given a spark to this offense. They like to run the football. He's one of the key reasons why. But then when they're talking about going to the air, Eddie Poole, the transfer from Rutgers, all he does is just make big plays time and time again for the Wildcat offense. And Patrick Scott, nose tackle transfer from Stanford to Florida A&M.
Second down for Bethune Cookman. Across the 5-yard line, Jerry Willis was in there on the stop for Florida A&M. That'll bring up third down for the Wildcats.
Did you notice there with all the impact players, the number of transfers that we have? I think that's been probably one of the biggest changes in FCS football over the years. The impact transfers are having on this level of football.
3rd and 7, Wildcats 39% of the season on third down. Second best in the MEAC. Wilson throwing from his own end zone. And that'll bring up fourth down. So that pass complete to Jackson, but Brandon Hepburn was there to snuff it out.
I want to take a look at the end of this. Does Jackson catch this ball with his knee on the turf? Right there. Maybe the knee didn't go down. He showed better balance there. That would have really put them in a bind had they had to punt the ball from their 1-yard line as opposed to get it out to their 4-yard line.
Kowalski will punt from the back of his end zone. And it bounces around near the 10. So trouble immediately for the Wildcats. So the Rattlers getting a piece of that one. Anthony Shutt, number 36.
Yesterday at the Rattlers walkthrough, they must have spent at least 45 minutes on special teams. Joe Taylor, coach team, really emphasized that. And on special teams, Shutt comes through with the block. Good job by the Rattlers to give the offense great field position.
And Bethune Cookman lucky that Shutt didn't block that one right into the end zone. It bounced out to the 9-yard line. But the Rattlers threaten here off a special teams play from Shutt, number 36. This is Page. Works his way close to the 7-yard line.
This is a real check right now for the Rattler offense. Yards do not come easily against Bethune Cookman, particularly down in the red zone. They're very aggressive, very stingy. If Florida A&M is forced to settle for a field goal attempt, that'll be a huge moral victory for Bethune.
We look at how Florida A&M is doing in the red zone, brought to you by Verizon. And Florida A&M first in the conference in the red zone, 93%. That includes 30 touchdowns. Here they are, 2nd and goal after the block punt. Page driving his way towards the goal line. They'll be marked just a little bit short. Reggie Sandilands tried to bring down big number 32. 5'11", 208, the junior from Atlanta.
Levante Page is their red zone running back. He only averages 2.8 yards per carry, but he's got 13 touchdowns on the season. That's more than 3 times the amount of the rest of the running backs combined. When they get the ball down in the red zone, it's Levante Page time.
This time it's Bethune-Cookman defense time. Jarkevis Fields plugging up the hole.
We'll see here, they're just going to try and power the football, but great penetration for the defensive lineman, Tevin Toney, wrapping him up around the ankles to go along with Harold Love. Nowhere for Page to run.
Field goal opportunity for the Rattlers. And the first points of the game from 19 yards out are on the board. Trevor Scott with the field goal. It was Shutt in the end zone with the block on Kowalski, who had to punt from his own end zone. Florida A&M has turned this play on special teams into 3 points to take the lead. Florida A&M opens the scoring here in the first quarter with a 19-yard field goal to take a 3-0 lead in the 32nd edition of the Florida Football Classic as the legend Joe Taylor paces that sideline.
And if you're Coach Taylor, you're satisfied you got 3 points on the board, but having to settle for a field goal opportunity when your special teams gave you the ball in great field position has to be a little disconcerting.
This is Cabrera from his 8. Cabrera across the 35 and spun down at the 40. That's a 33-yard return for the Wildcats of Bethune Cookman.
We talk about how Florida A&M plays tremendous special teams, but they had a lapse in the kickoff coverage there. If Bethune Cookman can match the Rattlers' intensity on special teams, that'll give them a tremendous advantage in a category that I don't think favors them.
Jackie Wilson leads them out onto the field. Wilson was injured in the second half of last year's game. In fact, starter Matt Johnson, who was the player of the year in the conference for Bethune-Cookman, also injured in that second half last year when Florida A&M took the victory, as Jackson will run it on first down. Time to look at the keys to victory with Jay Walker.
I think if you're Bethune-Cookman, first and foremost, you've got to settle on a quarterback. Not a big fan of the multiple quarterbacks. Find the one that's hot early, get it to them. And for the Florida A&M defense, they lead the conference as well as the nation in turnovers created. They've got to be very aggressive and create turnovers here this evening.
Jackie Wilson completes 65% of his passes. By yardage, he is the leading passer on the team, over 800 for the season. Dumps it off complete. That is Stroud. But Stroud is taken down. Goes to the 47-yard line. Folson making the tackle for Florida A&M.
One of the things you're going to see from Florida A&M is great linebacking. They've got a defensive coordinator, Earl Holmes, who was a legend of Florida A&M. He played linebacker in the NFL for 10 years. Brings in that very aggressive 3-4 defense, and they try to funnel everything to the interior linebackers where Demarius Folson and Brandon Hepburn roll.
Earl Holmes, who still holds the record at A&M for career tackles with 509. Here is 3rd and 4 for Bethune-Cookman. Quarterback trying to do it himself up close to midfield for Jackie Wilson, but it looks like he's about a yard short. Anthony Shutt was there defensively.
Yeah, Shutt's coming from that strong safety position, so they're bringing the pressure from the safety position. Number 36 is going to have a clean look at the quarterback, but Wilson recognizes it, steps up in the pocket, avoids the big loss, and almost picks up the first down.
So for the second straight series, Bethune-Cookman unable to convert on 3rd down. Came in second best in the conference on 3rd down. Kowalski had his last punt blocked. Johnson is the deep man. Signals for the fair catch and makes it successfully at the 22-yard line. A 28-yard punt for Kowalski. We'll take a timeout. The Rattlers on top of the Wildcats, 3-0.
ESPN's college football is presented by McDonald's. I'm loving it.
Back in Orlando, Florida for the Florida Classic, the 32nd edition. Florida A&M has won the last 3. This is the 15th Florida Classic to be played here at the Florida Citrus Bowl. Started back in '97. Fleming uncorks it, and it is intercepted. Ryan Lewis with the pick, his 3rd of the season.
Yeah, Ryan Lewis playing that outside linebacker, just doing drop chase on the curl flat combination. You see Lewis on the left side of your screen, number 15. He just runs up, looks up the curl route, gets underneath the route to make the easy interception. If you're a quarterback, you've got to look him off in that situation.
The senior from Pompano Beach, Florida. Trying to take his team back to the football championship subdivision playoffs, and probably more importantly at this moment, avenge the loss last year to Florida A&M in this game. 1st and 10 from just beyond the 30 of the Rattlers, and a penalty marker is out. The initial indication is that it will be against Bethune Cookman.
False start on the offense, number 83. 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
6-50.
The Rattlers took last year's game 38-27. Bethune Cookman had a 27-14 halftime lead in front of 61,000 plus here at the Citrus Bowl. A lot of maroon and gold, a lot of orange and green. For the 32nd edition of this game. Here is 2nd down. Spinning in is Isidore Jackson on the carry for Bethune Cookman. Greg Harvey made the tackle for Florida A&M. Isidore Jackson had a monster game in that win at Norfolk State. 34 carries and 206 yards for Jackson in that victory.
If you get 34 carries, a good running back should approach or eclipse the 200-yard mark, and Jackson's a really good one down in Daytona.
14-6 was the final count against Norfolk State, which was ranked number 24 in the country prior to that game. 2nd and long after the penalty. Pass incomplete inside the 15. A diving attempt by Eddie Poole.
That's where you have to go with the football if you're Jackie Wilson. They bring 8 men around the line of scrimmage, really trying to force the hand of Bethune Cookman, forcing them to throw. Poole went down for it, tried to make the catch, tried to get his arms underneath it, but ball popped out, didn't come up with it cleanly.
Poole, the leading receiver for the Wildcats, with 37 catches for close to 400 yards on the season. Also has 4 TD grabs, which is tied for the lead on the team. Third and 12 officially. Just over 6 minutes to go in this first quarter. A low snap fielded by Wilson. Behind Poole. And a couple of Rattlers were there defensively. So 3rd down has not been kind to Bethune Cookman so far in this game.
And an offense that is set up to run the ball first and throw it second. They have not found a rhythm. This is the poor decision where to go with the football. You've got Eddie Poole covered by 2 Rattler defenders, including the freshman safety, Devontae Johnson. Very fortunate that ball was not intercepted.
Johnson has 4 interceptions on the season. In fact, this Florida A&M team will keep Jackie Wilson busy. They have 21 interceptions, which is the best in the conference and the best in the nation. So here is the punt by Kowalski. Johnson, the deep man, watches it go out of bounds, and they will mark it at the 11-yard line. 23-yard punt from Kowalski. With 5:56 to go here in the first quarter. Joe Taylor's team will go on offense when we come back. 3-0 lead for the Rattlers.
I'm back.
The Rattlers lead the Wildcats at the Florida Classic 3-0. 5:56 to go in the first. Tonight, most of you will see Michael James and the 4th-ranked Oregon Ducks host Matt Barkley and the USC Trojans. Others will see 5th-ranked Oklahoma face a tough road test at number 22 Baylor. Saturday Night Football presented by Southwest Airlines. Tonight, 8 Eastern. College football lives here. 4th possession of the game for the Rattlers. They have not been all that productive so far as they go to the ground with McBurst. So we'll check out the keys on offense, what Florida A&M must do to get some traction, Jay.
It starts with protection up first, and that's for any quarterback, but it takes on added importance in tonight's contest. They've got to protect their young quarterback. And if you're Bethune Cookman, you've got to do just the opposite. Don't play conservative. Release the dogs. Get after the ball carrier, whether it's a quarterback or a running back. They've got the guys that can get the job done. They just have to keep their aggressive nature.
3-0 here in the first quarter. These are the top 2 scoring offenses in the conference. A&M back to the ground. Number 1, Tariq McBurst. Tackled by Ryan Davis, number 49. We'll call his name and number several times throughout the game. 20.5 tackles for loss to lead the team.
He's got a great body, 6'4", 260 pounds, a senior from Tampa, Florida. Started off his career at Bethune-Cookman as a tight end. Then during his freshman season, they moved him to the defensive side of the ball. That's why they say he's got such tremendous upside. He's still learning how to play the defensive end position.
And without a doubt, a prospect at the next level. Here is A&M 0-2 on third down in the football game as we approach 4.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Fleming, pass, complete. And a first down. Good looking play. Lenworth Lennon, number 27, with his 40th catch of the year. 14 yards and a first down for Florida A&M.
Accurately thrown ball there by Damian Fleming, and that's what you have to have. When you've got man-to-man coverage, hit the running back or the wide receiver in stride so he can run after catch and pick up more valuable yards. Looks as if Damian Fleming's starting to settle down and find his groove after having the interception in the last series.
Lennon, the redshirt freshman from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, those 40 catches, tops on the team. And over 500 yards receiving for Lennon. First and 10 from the 33. Completed pass for Florida A&M, who goes all the way across the field. It was Ryan Davis to make the stop. Brian Timms on the catch.
And that's that motor you have to play the defensive end position. Take a look at Ryan Davis, number 49, gets hit. Now watch him come track down the ball carrier from inside out. That's what you've got to do when teams are running these bubble screens. If you've got defensive ends with high motors, high energy guys, they can really neutralize that pass.
And Davis with 3.5 sacks in that monster win at Norfolk State earlier this year. Not a lot on second down for the Rattlers. Sandilands was the first man there to meet McPherson.
And I think one of the keys for this game is going to be who can control the line of scrimmage. Most times I've seen Bethune-Cookman this year, between Ryan Davis and Reggie Sandilands and Ryan Lewis, they simply beat up on the opposing offensive line. And that's why they're able to win football games. When you talk about Reggie Sandilands and Ryan Lewis, you won't find two better linebackers in FCS college football.
3rd and 5. In and out of the hands of the receiver Harvey. As Fleming delivered the football, very catchable but incomplete.
This is an incomplete pass, but if you're a Bethune-Cookman, you've got to be wary because that was a catchable ball. They brought pressure, and Fleming delivered the ball accurately. The receiver just did not make the catch.
Holdren to punt. Fleckley, the deep man. Off a bounce at the 21. And to the 24-yard line for Cleckley. It's a 41-yard punt, just 3 on the return by Cleckley. What an exciting game we had a season ago. Bethune-Cookman had the lead. Ultimately, it was Florida A&M that got the victory, 38-27. 27-14 was the lead at half, but there's Matt Johnson getting injured. Jackie Wilson was also injured in the game. Down to their third quarterback, Levante Page, with a go-ahead TD run. And then Philip Sylvester, 146 yards on 26 carries and 3 TDs, 38-27 the final. Joe Taylor's won all 3 of the classics in which he has coached the Rattlers. Here's a little play-action pass complete. And a good-looking play. Jackie Wilson rolled out, hit his man, 83 Jordan Murphy. 9-yard play.
Taking a look back at last year's game, when you talk to the Bethune-Cookman coaches, they really felt had Matt Johnson stayed healthy, they would have won that game. They want to come out and prove it this year that they're the better team. And you can't really argue with him. Matt Johnson was the offensive player of the year in the MEAC conference last year. Losing him was quite a blow.
Bethune-Cookman was also undefeated coming into that game last year. Jay at 10-0. And Florida A&M pulled off the victory. Brian Jenkins, I think maybe he's still a little steamed about what happened last year on this very field.
Yes, because he really feels as if the Rattlers ended this season. When you knocked out Matt Johnson, not only did he miss the second half of the Florida Classic, but he also was not able to play in their playoff game in which they lost. So they really are holding on to a grudge. New Hampshire came and beat them in the playoffs at home, which was quite a blow. So payback is definitely on Coach Jenkins' mind.
Bethune-Cookman has its first down of the ball game. Pass Incomplete at the 45 off the fingertips of Isidore Jackson. And you heard the groan come up from the crowd here at the Citrus Bowl, Jay.
Oh, this was a nicely designed play. They sold the wide receiver screen with the play action pass to Eddie Poole. You saw the pump fake. Isidore Jackson's got to come up with that football. Missed opportunity for a big play here early.
Jackson does have 11 catches on the season. That one eludes him. And now 2nd and 10 for the Wildcats. Sophomore from Mossy Head, Florida, couldn't hang on to that one. Gets the call on the ground as a helmet rolls around at the 41-yard line. There's some pad popping going on down there. John Ojo, free safety, came up to make the play. Ojo, a junior from Tallahassee, Florida. This is the 5th start of the season for Jackie Wilson. Bethune Cookman coming off its win against Savannah State last week. Wilson to the air. Incomplete. And a flag on the play. An all-out effort from Eddie Poole. There is a penalty marker as Ross had the coverage for the Rattlers.
And this is good recognition by Jackie Wilson. You've got one-on-one coverage with Eddie Poole going against Marvin Ross. Take advantage of the size advantage that they have out there on the perimeter. Eddie Poole is 6'3", almost 200 pounds. Give him a chance to make a play. Ross with too much contact. First down, Bethune Cookman.
Junior from Belle Glade, Florida. Couple of catches last week. He's got a reception in 22 straight games. And now off of the penalty, Bethune Cookman is into Rattler territory. Top scoring offense in the conference. Almost 35 points per game. They do not have a point yet. Just 59 seconds to go.
And look at the Rattlers crowding the line of scrimmage. Nobody deeper than 7 yards from the ball right now. That means they plan on bringing some type of pressure.
Handoff. And they will lose a couple of yards on the play. Jonathan Moment shook the first man, lost his helmet in the process.
You knew they were crowding the line of scrimmage, so if you choose to run the football, it's going to be very tough to pick up some yardage. First man missed him behind the line of scrimmage. That was Joshua Newkirk, but there were so many Rattlers close to the line of scrimmage in the pre-snap read that you knew they were going to be there in a hurry to make a tackle for a loss.
Call it 2nd and 12. As they look to the sideline for the indication. Just 20 seconds to go in the first quarter. Ball right at midfield. Here at the Florida Citrus Bowl. Completed to 45. Maurice Francois makes the catch for Bethune Cookman. Bobby Jackson on the tackle for Florida A&M. The final seconds come off the clock, and the first quarter is complete. So it's A&M off a special teams block in the end zone on a punt. Turned it into 3 points.
Sunday.
Getting ready to start the second quarter from Orlando, Florida. A 3-0 lead for the Rattlers, and both of these offenses have been stifled so far, Jay.
Yards are very difficult to come by, so field position will come at a premium.
The total offense for Bethune Cookman is first in the conference and 10th in the nation. Pass is complete, and that's a first down for the Wildcats. 12 yards on the play. Eddie Poole on the grab. Terrell Stewart taking down Poole.
And that's the matchup they're going to try to attack. Anytime they see one-on-one coverage, 75% of the time they're going to throw the ball in Eddie Poole's direction. He's their big play wide receiver.
5 receivers set here. Little dump off. It's complete. And inside the 30 to the 32-yard line, Poole again. 5 for Poole there, Jay.
Until they make some adjustments, they'll continue to feed Eddie Poole. He's got that big, tight play potential, and you see him going off the field there. Hopefully that's not too serious an injury there, maybe a little stinger, but Poole catches the ball, great explosion, way to pick up yards after the catch.
You could see at the end of the play, he fell kind of awkwardly. Here is the 9th play of this current drive for the Wildcats. Right up the gut, there is a penalty marker. So that was carried by Rodney Scott, but again, there's a flag.
We have an illegal formation against the offense. 5 players in the backfield, 5-yard penalty. Replay, 2nd down.
Fleming Williams gives us the official word. Jackie Wilson, the starter today for Brian Jenkins. He's got a couple of good quarterbacks behind Wilson as well, and David Blackwell and Jamar Robinson. In fact, Blackwell last week against Savannah State rushed for 203 yards and 3 touchdowns, which included an 80-yard TD run on the first play of the game. Right now it is Wilson getting the call for Bethune-Cookman. Pass is complete. This is Scott inside the 30. And he backs his way to the 25-yard line.
Rodney Scott, the transfer from Ole Miss, one of the impact players we talked about. He's a guy they really like to get the ball to in the open field, in open space. They feel that he's got some creative moves with the football. And you'll see here, this is just a simple swing pass to the running back that he picks up 7 yards and almost gets the first down.
3rd and 2 for the Wildcats. I want Scott to get it. He got close to the 20-yard line. It would appear, Jay, on first glance, that he has enough for the first down, and he does officially, as John Ojo made the tackle for Florida A&M. So a very methodical drive here for Bethune-Cookman. Scott is on the sideline from the 20.
Right now they're checking. They got one-on-one coverage, it looks like, with either Eddie Poole or Martin Francois. Wouldn't be surprised to see the Wildcats go up top on this play.
This drive starting at their own 24-yard line. Isadora Jackson burns up a couple more yards for this team that is 78% in the red zone this season. 5th best in the MEAC. That includes 34 touchdowns. Here is 2nd down and 9. The Wildcats in the midst of a 5-game winning streak. When you look back at their schedule, they started, Jay, just 2-3 through the first 5. Pass complete. That's 83, Jordan Murphy. The big tight end, 6'2", 245, and a sophomore from Ayer, Massachusetts.
They're going with the play action, trying to just get a leverage to the outside. Good hard fake to Isadora Jackson. Good job by Wilson getting the ball out to Murphy. But John Ojo coming up from his free safety position to make the tackle, which probably prevented a touchdown.
Again, Bethune-Cookman still looking for its first points of the game after outscoring its opponents 102-34 in the first quarter this season. Handoff down close to the 10-yard line. That's Anthony Jordan on the rush for the Wildcats. So we've seen Jackson, Scott, Moment has a carry, and now Anthony Jordan.
And if a team's going to call a running play on 3rd and 5, then that basically they're telling you it's 2-down territory, that they plan on going for it on 4th down.
Bethune-Cookman 47% of the season. This will be the 20th time this year they have gone for it. Right into the line, barreling inside the 5 is Jordan, and they got it on 4th down. They'll spot him at the 4-yard line. 1st and goal, Wildcats.
Anthony Jordan is the largest running back on the Bethune-Cookman roster. Watch this. Watch after the initial contact. How many more yards he picks up, keeps his legs going. Big run by Anthony Jordan.
Redshirt freshman from Atlanta, Georgia. Jordan again, diving for the goal line, and he got it. Touchdown, Cats. The 8th rushing touchdown of the season, Anthony Jordan from 4 yards out, diving for the goal line.
Women love men that are groomed to the max, but grooming certain areas.
About careers with today's VA at VA Career.
Bethune Cookman has taken the lead early in the second quarter, 7-3. Their first 3 attempts not so productive. The last drive, 15 plays, 76 yards, and they also took 6 minutes and 45 seconds off the clock on that scoring drive to take the lead 7-3. Wilson was a perfect 4 for 4 on that drive for 31 yards. Short kick running up at the 25-yard line. Jordan Stanley. And they slam it in from 4 yards out. The 8th rushing TD for Anthony Jordan.
And let's take a look at that touchdown run by Anthony Jordan. Take a look at the right guard, Corey Mason here. Watch the fantastic job he does of getting a seal block here. Then the right tackle is going to seal the inside, creating a wide open running lane for not only the fullback, but for Anthony Jordan to get to the end zone. So you get the seal, fullback comes, double team, wide open running lane. The rest is all Anthony Jordan using that big frame and leaning into the end zone.
John Ojo, number 25, was there for the Rattlers, just could not contain Anthony Jordan. First down is a pass play. It is caught near the 40-yard line for 15 yards. Michael Etheridge, number 88. Damian Fleming on the pass play to Etheridge. Fleming, who saw his first action this season in the game against Southern for Florida A&M. A win, 38-33. And he is now 5-1 as a starter, as a freshman. Another pass completion out on the edge. That was Lennon on the catch there. Might have lost half a yard in the process.
Yeah, they went to a cover 2 look after Fleming had the long completion on the previous play. And if you're going to play that cover defense, you need your cornerbacks to really come up and protect against those wide receiver screens. And good job by the Bethune-Cookman Wildcat defenders, particularly Daniel Rhodes.
Joe Taylor's Rattlers coming off a 31-10 win at North Carolina Central in Durham, North Carolina last Saturday. And Fleming again, and it was 3 straight completions. Rocker runs it up close to the 45-yard line. They'll give him forward progress to the 45. Gene Fenor, number 9 for Bethune-Cookman in the black and maroon, making the tackle.
And you're starting to see Damian Fleming feel more comfortable in this football game, and it seems as if the coaching staff is starting to trust him a little bit more. If you're going to attack the Bethune-Cookman defense, you're not going to do it in between the tackles. They're just too aggressive, too strong. You've got to get to their secondary, and that's what they're starting to do, spread out the field and throw the ball.
3rd and 5 for the Rattlers, who have only converted 1 on 4 attempts in the game from their own 45-yard line. Fleming wants to go back to the air. 4th straight play. Oh, the middle incomplete. Kevin Elliott gains the 30, and Kevin Elliott out of bounds at the 29-yard line of Bethune-Cookman. 26 yards on the play.
Kevin Elliott has made a career of making difficult catches over the middle of the field. He goes across the middle with fearless abandon, and you can see he's rewarded. And not only does he make the catch in traffic, but picks up plenty of yards after the catch and gives him a little wiggle celebration with the cheerleaders over there too.
Getting into the act is number 5, Kevin Elliott, a senior from right here in Orlando, Florida. What a way to end your career. in the regular season, because both of these teams have a shot at the postseason with victories today. Levante Page gets the handoff, a very short gain, if any, for Page on first down.
And this is a time in the game where if you're Florida A&M, you really want to try and get a touchdown scored now. The weather here is starting to deteriorate a little bit. It's becoming very windy, so it's going to be more difficult to throw the football, and storm clouds are looming. So they've got to try and score now, because you don't know what Mother Nature's impact is going to have on this football game down the road.
Weatherman Jay Walker correctly predicting the swirling winds and clouds that moved in this afternoon here in the Orlando area. That swirling wind starts from the right of your screen and moves to the left and then circles back around. Fleming doesn't care. Gets out of the pocket. Inside the 20 for Fleming. And a first down for the Rattlers. A 12-yard scamper for the freshman. Reggie Sandiland brought him down for Bethune Cookman.
And great recognition by the freshman quarterback Damian Fleming. Man-to-man coverage. Nobody accounts for the running quarterback. He's unaccounted for. He makes one man miss, takes off, makes a quick decision when to run the football, rewarded with the first down.
Longest rushing play of the day for the Rattlers.
Here comes pressure from Bethune Cookman.
And they take him down to the backfield. Ryan Lewis was the first man there.
Several times we talked about them bringing pressure for Bethune Cookman. Well, there you're going to see the outside linebackers come from both ways. There's no way to go. They've got that play boxed in from the start. Nothing they can do. If you're a quarterback, you got to try and get out of that play the best you can.
Violent collision between Lewis and Levante Page. A couple of big guys going helmet to helmet, shoulder to shoulder. From 21 for the Rattlers. Fleming, complete inside the 15-yard line, down to the 13 to Lennon. 8 yards there.
One thing you notice about Bethune Cookman, when they get to the ball, they really bring it with them. You know, you talk about bringing your lunch pail. Watch Ryan Lewis. If you're going to catch the ball, you better watch where those linebackers are, because they're going to hit you, and they're going to hit you hard.
Ryan Lewis with Lennon in the crosshairs, and Ryan Lewis has expended a lot of energy on this defensive sequence for Bethune Cookman.
I really like Ryan Lewis as a football player. 6'1", 245 pounds, can run, high football IQ.
And he's got 4 tackles, 3rd and 3. Fleming will roll that pocket, and he is losing control of the football. Who's got it? Bethune Cookman comes away with the football. Harold Love the third. Big number 99, Jay. 325 pounds falling on the loose ball.
Yeah, and you'll see them chasing. You've got Ryan Davis shedding off the block, getting to the quarterback, Damian Fleming, before he anticipated. Ball's on the ground. And once Ryan Davis gets in the neighborhood, he's going to make bad things happen.
The 7th time this season that Ryan Davis has forced a fumble, and then Harold Love the third, number 99, with his first fumble recovery of the season. Ball goes back to Bethune Cookman. Some tough yards earned on first down by Isidore Jackson.
Right now you see Bethune Cookman starting to step on the gas pedal with the hurry-up offense.
Jackson again. First down and more. Second level and across midfield. Folson ran him out of bounds. 32 yards to match his jersey number for Isidore Jackson.
Good job of running the daylight. See, a good running back has to have the vision. Look where the orange jerseys aren't. See the crease and break to the outside. Set up the block there. Good inside-out move there. Demarius Folson had to bring him down 32 yards down the field from a linebacker position.
Ninth carry of the game for Isidore Jackson, who is over 50 yards for the contest. Demarius Folson made the tackle.
can see the rain there really starting to pick up here. When you get conditions like this, very important that you rely on your running game.
There is both rain and sunshine in the Florida Citrus Bowl right now. To the near side, the umbrellas are coming out. To the far side, it's the sunbeams. Greg Harvey made the tackle, but Isidore Jackson is running downhill and with immense confidence at this point as those raindrops continue to fall.
They're falling, but they're not slowing him down. Good job of keeping the shoulder pad level low, and they're starting to dominate the right side of the offensive line. We saw it on the touchdown run by Anthony Jordan. Corey Mason and Alex Monroe doing an outstanding job.
3rd and 4 for Bethune. Second effort, Anthony Jordan. And Jordan gets to the 30, and that's a first down. Boy, it looked like the Rattlers had him, Jay, but he picked up 8 yards to move the chains.
And Jordan's been a pleasant surprise for Coach Jenkins. They're just going with the biggest running back they have. They've got him wrapped, but strong legs will keep him going. That should have been a tackle for a loss. Instead, turns into a first down.
How did he shake free from Patrick Scott, number 95, the nose tackle? Wilson does it himself this time. Gets inside the 25-yard line. You hear that constant soundtrack here at the Florida Citrus Bowl of the bands. We'll feature them at halftime. This Bethune Cookman offense, very potent and moving the football. And there was room to run, but it was Wilson slipping down. Jerry Willis made sure he went no further, but it's good enough for a first down. Could have been more, but it's a first down in the red zone for Bethune Cookman.
And it was a good decision by Jackie Wilson of taking the ball out of the belly of the running back, calling his own number to pick up the first down.
2:47 and counting in the 32nd annual Florida Classic. Bethune Cookman is on the move. It is a feisty Isidore Jackson. Not the biggest guy in the world, Jay. 5'10", 195, a sophomore. But he just runs tough. He runs angry.
He's got that angry man mentality when he's running the football. You know, good change of pace back. One thing that Coach Jenkins and offensive coordinator Rob Spence have, people that look alike. All their quarterbacks are built alike and they play alike, and all their running backs, you talk about Isidore Jackson and Rodney Scott, built alike and they play very similar.
Wildcats 1 for 1 in the red zone. Last drive was a trip to the red zone and a touchdown by Jordan. Battle out in the flat and out of bounds. 1:59 to go as Isidore Jackson made the catch. He fought with Bobby Jackson, number 46 in orange and green.
I like your description. Isidore Jackson is running angry out there on the field right now. Simple swing pass, still took 3 Rattler defenders to bring him down.
That's what a rivalry is all about. Bethune Cookman remembers the comeback from Florida A&M in the second half last year. As the Wildcats led at halftime 27-14. This is the 10th play of this drive. Trying to increase on their lead of 7-3. Wilson, end zone. Incomplete. Patrick Harris off the fingertips. And you wonder if maybe some of those raindrops collecting on that football. Jay Walker's not having any excuse here.
You got to come down with that. This is the second perfect throw that Jackie Wilson's made, right on the money. Reach out, lay out for it if you have to, leave your feet, but don't allow that ball to hit the tips of your fingers and fall incomplete.
33-yard field goal attempt from Hurd. Now the Wildcats come away with 3 points. 2 for 2 in the red zone of the game. Bethune Cookman with a 10-3 lead over the Rattlers.
Attention collectors, truck enthusiasts, and Ford fans. Here's an auto.
Bethune Cookman with a 10-3 advantage. 1:10 to go in the second quarter from the Florida Classic. Coming up, it's the State Farm halftime report. We've got the Bethune Cookman marching Wildcats, the Florida A&M marching 100. You certainly don't want to miss that. And we'll have our first half highlights and stats from the Florida Citrus Bowl and the 32nd edition of the Florida Football Classic. That is a rocket that will end up in the end zone and roll right on through. Sven Hurd fires that through the end zone. So 1st and 10 from the 20 for the Rattler offense when we come back. Tonight, ESPN has the #1 and #9 ranked. And that BCS situation upset by Iowa State last night with its victory, as it took out Oregon State.
Shook up everything, didn't it?
Correction, Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State, yes.
I mean, that just really changed the whole dynamic there. And fans of SEC football got to be feeling very good about themselves today. The probability of LSU-Alabama rematch seems to be growing.
There's that SEC championship game as well. Georgia can wrap up its side of the division with the win against Kentucky, so you just never know. Right here, it's the Florida Football Classic at a 10-3 lead for Bethune. Tom Wormy, Jay Walker. Fleming escapes the pocket. Some improvisation, a tip ball. We had it all on that play, Jay, and it counts for absolutely nothing.
It was an exciting highlight.
It
Put
was.
it there to show the mobility, show the vision downfield. But you'll see there, just watch the progression. He's going through his reads. Good job of stepping up, protecting the football, then looking downfield. You like that. Keep looking downfield. Look for a wide receiver. Kevin Elliott came back, just couldn't get it to him. There's a difference between having happy feet and nervous feet. And Fleming, he doesn't have happy feet. He moves around in the pocket well just to buy time for his wide receivers down the field. So often you see true freshmen come in with happy feet, always looking to take off. That's not the case with Damian Fleming.
He is 7 of 11, 72 yards and an interception thrown. Levante Page across the 20-yard line. They will give him the 22 and a timeout.
Yeah, once Florida A&M decided to run the ball on 3rd down, then pretty much Brian Jenkins for Bethune-Cookman said, well, we have an opportunity to get the football back. They've got some timeouts to spare. Why not? Either go for a punt block or set up a nice return and see if you can possibly add some more points before the half.
Only 3 points separate Carl Edwards and Tony Stewart. Heading into the final race, go with Tony Stewart coming from behind. Now that'll end the run for Hendrick Motorsports and Jimmy Johnson at 5, but you know who makes Tony Stewart's engines? Hendrick Motorsports. So
I just
we'll
like
see what
Tony
happens
Stewart
in Homestead.
I think he's got that football player mentality.
Bethune-Cookman will allow it to bounce, and the Rattlers will watch it all the way down to the 28-yard line. 50-yard punt, timeout on the field. 10-3 Bethune at the Florida Classic.
Don't you dare go anywhere.
That marching 100 from Florida A&M getting ready to take the field at halftime. The Wildcats, though, have a 10-3 lead. 36 seconds to go in the second quarter. Bethune-Cookman has started to gain some offensive traction. 141 yards in their last 2 possessions and 10 points as Isidore Jackson gets the carry. A 33-yard field goal from Sven Hurd. And Anthony Jordan from 4 yards out with his 8th touchdown of the season. That represents the scoring for Bethune-Cookman. 11 yards on that previous play. Jackson gets the call again. Is met at the 40 by several orange jerseys led by Demarius Folson, number 11. So once again, we'll have the bands from both of the schools, the Marching 100 from Florida A&M and the Marching Wildcats from Bethune-Cookman coming up at halftime.
Don't go anywhere. We're going to capture it all for you. We're going to get the bands. We're going to get the hype man. We're going to get the crowd. It's the Florida Classic.
Brian Jenkins goes to the locker room with a 10-3 lead. The Wildcats lead the Rattlers at the Florida Classic. This halftime report is presented by State Farm. For auto, home, life, and banking, get to a better state. Right now at halftime, it is time to listen in to the Marching 100 from Florida A&M under the direction of Dr. Julian White.
troops coming home December 31st this year. First, the sails are up, and we're going to the island. Now, we're taking the plane to bring our troops home. Ladies and gentlemen, the Marching 100 takes pride in acknowledging that our troops will be returning home from Afghanistan as promised by the 44th President of these United States of America, Barack Obama. Please stand and show your support for the red, white, and blue, as well as all of the men and women in the armed services who gave their lives so that we can enjoy the freedom we have in this United States of America. Welcome home. From the pen of our Ranger, Lindsey B. Sargent, please welcome our Director of Bands, Dr. Julian E. White. From Concert Band Formation, the tune, Always and Forever, in HD. We salute the hip-hop icon, Heavy D, and boxing icon, Joe Frazier. Your legacy will be always and forever. Proverbs 31:10 asks, who could find a virtuous woman? For her price is far more than rubies. find a virtuous woman that overflows with so much beauty. Orlando, if you look at the 50-yard line, you'll find the virtues in Miss Kendall Johnson, former Miss FAMU, and Orlando's own former vice president of the SGA, Calvin Hayes. Kendall, Calvin wants to know, will you be his wife? The answer is yes. Always and forever. The difference is clear. The dance routine is now. I'm a boss. It's time for the 100 to bust it wide open. Salt and pepper. Orlando, the 100 will now take you to the city of love. One word, Paris.
watching the Marching 100 from Florida A&M. When we come back to Orlando, it's the Marching Wildcats of Bethune-Cookman.
Green band that just left the field.
Welcome back to Orlando and the State Farm halftime report. Right now, time to listen in to the Marching Wildcats from Bethune-Cookman under the direction of Donovan Wells.
Take notes and watch perfection in action. Don't get it twisted. You look good today, but we look good every day. And now, the drum majors. Marlon Milton, Michael Crane, Louis Owens, Christopher Leonard, and the head drum major. His real name is Valentine. Franklin, Holmes, Brooks. Work it, baby. Work it. Florida Classic, halftime, 2011. Let's go, Wildcats. Bethune Cookman University. Here is a salute to all our loyal alumni and friends. Wildcats for the whole world to see. Watch this Wildcat dance. You tried 100, sorry. And now a mini tribute to the late, great Michael Jackson. They are compared to many, but unlike any other. Masterful, exotic, and beautiful. The 14-karat gold Jackson. naked 14-karat gold dancers. At this time, we honor our illustrious founder, Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune. She gave so much of herself to us, and we celebrate that giving with the music of Lettucey and her song, Pieces of Me, directed by Mr. Donovan Wells, Director of Bands. Saluting the magnificence of a black woman. Dr. Bethune, you gave us everything, and we now give you a piece of each one of us. Lettucey, Pieces of Me, directed by Donovan Wells. LMFAO, that's what Wildcats do. 100, when we watch you. This bootleg is better than you every day. Lay down 100. It won't take long. This will be a quickie. This is how you get it all. A Rattler Wildcat Quickie. Oh my God. Wait a minute. Give them just a little bit more. We now bow our heads in sympathy for the 4 drum majors that FAMU lost since last year. Hundred, we found your lost drum major.
This has been the Welcome back to ESPN College Football, presented by McDonald's. We're at the Florida Football Classic. A 10-3 lead for Bethune-Cookman. Florida A&M got its points off of a blocked field goal. And Bethune-Cookman with a touchdown and a 33-yard field goal as well. So here we are at the 32nd annual rivalry game between these two teams, the Florida Football Classic. Tom Wormy and Jay Walker. And I think, Jay, most of the first half, we were waiting for these offenses to kind of gain some traction and really explode as we take a look at some of the action from the first half.
In the first quarter, neither team was settled, and it showed in their play. Kind of sloppy football play at times. But once the second quarter came around, the team started showing what they do well. Florida A&M with the block punt, great field position. They put the offense in tremendous shape. But unfortunately, they had to settle for a field goal attempt, which they made, to give them a 3-0 lead. And then it all came down to the freshman quarterback. And at times, Damian Fleming looked tremendous. Great throw here, showing you the arm strength. Good decision to run the football, showing the athleticism and the nice young legs he's got. But he is a freshman. He made a couple freshman mistakes, throwing an easy interception there, picked off by Ryan Lewis. And then not protecting the football, putting it on the turf. And that really hurt the Rattlers.
So here are the first half stats, and you can see that Bethune-Cookman dominating the rushing game, and overall for Bethune-Cookman 155 total yards, and for Florida A&M 94 total yards of offense. Isidore Jackson, we might also mention, 13 carries and 65 yards in the first half. Set for the second half. Tom Wormy, Jay Walker, the former quarterback at Howard and in the NFL. And Jay, you know all about these rivalry games. This is a wonderful setting for college football.
I mean, I think, if you talk about different settings around the country, you've got some good things in Louisiana and Alabama, but in Florida, this is like a state holiday. You talk about split households where you have husband and wives that sit away from each other during this game. They've got everything you want, the pageantry, good football players, and the Florida Classic is truly a special place. We talk about the importance of this game, just in the recent times, some of the names that have played in the football game. And this is what I like to see. Here's our Twitter question. I want to know, what do you all think out there? Tweet us at ESPN CFB. And the Atlanta Football Classic, always special every year. Bayou Classic, traditional Grambling Southern matchup. Circle City in Indianapolis, Florida Classic, Magic City. What do you think about all that, Tom? Do you have a favorite classic?
Well, I've been honored to call the Atlanta Football Classic on a couple of occasions, which is a big-time field in Atlanta where the Falcons play their home games. And I've also been at the Southern Heritage Classic in Memphis.
Not on the list. He's stupid.
Yeah, which is also a tremendous atmosphere as well. We get started here in the second half. Bethune-Cookman receiving that opening kickoff. Anthony Jordan up close to the 40-yard line. Time for the State Farm. Get to a better place, get to a better state.
You saw a little taste of the get to a better state right there when you saw Anthony Jordan. And it's been running the football on the ground for Bethune-Cookman. Their offensive line started to wear down the Florida A&M defensive line, and Anthony Jordan just became a big back, pounding the ball in there. He was the reason they were able to get to a better state, as the Wildcats had 100 yards rushing on the ground in the first half.
Isidore Jackson with the carry there. The Bethune-Cookman band incurred a penalty against the Wildcats for delay of game. That's why Florida A&M kicked off from the 40-yard line. So you think the bands are involved in this game? You're absolutely right. Penalty against the band there. It didn't bother the return by Jordan at all. And here is 2nd and 9 for Bethune-Cookman. In the black, white, maroon, and gold. Wilson, plenty of daylight, and he slides across the 45-yard line. They'll mark him at the 46. Patrick Scott and Marius Folson were bearing down on him.
We talked about the right side of the offensive line just simply dominating. Watch how many bodies you see get pushed in this direction on the misdirection there. When you can do that, it gives your quarterback all types of time. Look at that. They just completely caved in. The Florida A&M defensive line, they're starting to control that side of the football field.
3rd and 3 for Bethune-Cookman. 7-3 on the season. Across midfield and a first down, and that is Isidore Jackson.
That run there was kind of indicative of what they've been able to do. Isidore Jackson got the ball on the left side, but realized we're having success running to the right side. Little jump step and a hop to get over to the right side. First down, Wildcats.
From precisely at midfield, early going third quarter. Up the middle and 6 or 7 more yards from Jonathan Moment. He's a senior from here in Orlando. You can't understate the importance of this game, especially to the seniors and especially to the guys from right here in Orlando.
And it just means so much for both of these teams. And for Florida A&M, Coach Joe Taylor said the one thing that's missing from his time at FAMU is playing in the postseason. And Brian Jenkins wants to get back.
Big hole, left side, Moment. 10-yard line to the end zone and a touchdown.
I think I heard it best. Jonathan Moment is in the moment with the 43-yard touchdown scamper running through arm tackles. And we talked about how they were starting to control the line of scrimmage, and Jonathan Moment made it pay off.
"43 yards, Jonathan Moment. A career-long run and a punch right to the mouth of the Rattlers to start the third quarter.
Attention cheer.
A 17-3 lead for Bethune Cookman, scoring early here in the third quarter. Jonathan Moment caps off this drive. 43 yards on the run. A career long for Moment, who takes it to the end zone, shedding Rattlers on his way to the house. And that top rushing offense in the conference starting to come alive, especially here to open up the third quarter. 12:37 to go. Big burst to the 17, maybe the 18. Let's take a look at today's Lexus playbook.
Take a look here schematically how they're able to get this successful run. Watch what they do schematically. They give them a look that shows 3 people on the right side of the line of scrimmage. That puts the inside linebacker in a bind. He guesses on the wrong hole. Once he commits to going to the right side, they come back to the left side. Big running lane for Jonathan Moment. Great job schematically of giving them the misdirection.
Curry and Mason up front throwing blocks to spring Moment. Ran through the hole and took it all the way. Took it the distance. And now this Bethune Cookman defense swarming to the ball carrier, Eddie Rocker.
Reggie Sandilands with the stop.
With an offense that hasn't been able to move the ball down the field to maintain long drives, I really believe that coaches earn their keep at halftime adjustments. What can they do to get this offense going, kick-start it? And let's see what Coach Joe Taylor and offensive coordinator Coach Shaw come up with.
Joe Taylor's team has won 4 in a row and 6 of its last 7, including a win at South Carolina State. That pass is complete across the 35. Fleming on target to Lennon for 20 yards.
And you can see why they're so excited about Damian Fleming. The arm strength, when they protect him, he can make good throws.
There is a Bethune Cookman player down on the turf, being attended to by the medical staff. So good news there. Michael Williams sitting up as we will take a timeout. The injured player for Bethune Cookman, number 2, Michael Williams, and you see he hopped up and ran to his sideline. He's experienced some injury troubles throughout the season, though, Jay.
Yeah, only the third game this season he's been able to play in. He was their starting free safety to start the season and having a tough luck senior year.
But Brian Jenkins certainly wants to go back to the postseason, as Bethune-Cookman participated last year in those playoffs. These teams need a win for consideration. Again, the field is 20 teams. The top 12, though, Jay, get that first round bye. The other 8 have to play that first round game.
Yeah, both these teams are trying to get the at-large bid, which would be an invitation. The MEAC automatic qualifier went to Norfolk State, so they're trying to play for second place and to put themselves in a position.
7th, Frisco, Texas. Second year of the game being played in Frisco for the FCS title. Flags are out. Pass over the middle was caught, but again there is a flag on the play. Diving grab made, but it's going to be nullified.
Number 58, 10-yard penalty. First down.
Well, that's going to be called on Shelly Anthony, your center. Just grabbed a little bit too much jersey. You'll see him right there. Good commitment there to get off the ball. He just drags Ryan Davis down to the ground. Looked like a little WWE move, a little takedown.
You saw Fleming with a slight bobble on the turf, which could be a little slick. We did encounter some rain in the first half. It was funny. We had rain on one side of the field and bright sunshine on the other side. Right now, cloud covered. The breeze has settled down a little bit according to the flags on the top of the uprights. Fleming on a 4-receiver set. Picks one out and hits him. Kevin Elliott, number 5.
That's a big-time throw. And I think the halftime adjustment for Florida A&M, let's ride Damian Fleming. He's no longer a true freshman at this stage in the game. He's a sophomore. Watch this, from the left hash all the way across the field with a bullet to Kevin Elliott in between that small crease. That's a big-time throw from Damian Fleming.
In that win at South Carolina State for Florida A&M, Damian Fleming, 30 for a 40 passing, Jay, 297 yards and a touchdown. We know he can post some impressive numbers against a team that went to the playoffs last season in South Carolina State. Over the middle, complete. Timms to the end zone.
What a throw.
62 yards, Jay Walker.
You know, all because of the excellent throw by Damian Fleming. He threw a dart that was accurate and allowed Timms to not break stride and take that ball to the house.
Just a second ago, we talked about his big numbers against South Carolina State. Well, they put up a big one there as he connected with Timms, his 3rd TD grab of the season. You see the flag. It came after the touchdown.
Wouldn't be surprised if there's some type of celebration penalty.
Fleming Williams, the unsportsmanlike conduct against Bethune-Cookman. But again, 62 yards on the play. Damian Fleming, Brian Timms. Touchdown counts.
No, unsportsman.
Timms, a senior from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Caught it and just ran with it. Turned on the jets, found a different gear and got all the way to the end zone. Extra point is good. Jay Walker, we've got a football game here as they trade punches in the 3rd quarter.
It all starts with they're going to start utilizing the passing game. This is going to be Brian Timms right here. He's just going to run a route that's going to take him here up across the middle, but watch the accuracy of the throw by Damian Fleming. The soft spot in the defense, he's going to come out, recognize it, hit him in stride, allowing him to break free, and then after that it was all Brian Timms getting to the end zone, turning on the Jets to get the Rattlers back within striking distance. Good release, stem move inside, a little push off there, catch the ball in stride, and run, Brian, run. And we talked about it before that. I think that's a halftime adjustment. You know, they were a little guarded about Damian Fleming in the first half. Coach Taylor told me before the game we're going to try and rely on the running game if we can. Now, gloves are off. Come on out and throw the football. What do you have to lose?
We've seen 2 explosive scoring plays, 62 yards. Fleming to Timms for the touchdown. And prior to that, for Bethune-Cookman, its touchdown coming from Jonathan Moment and a 43-yard rumble. 2 hands across the football as he took it to the end zone. So both teams have been able to score here in the third quarter.
And if it becomes a high-scoring affair, I think Florida A&M would have the advantage because they could throw the ball a little bit better than Bethune-Cookman. But if Bethune-Cookman can pound the ball, continue to get big running lanes, then look for the Rattlers to have a good chance to hold on to this lead.
That pass play, the longest that Bethune-Cookman had allowed this season, 62 yards. Fleming to Timms. Very short kick, taken at the 35-yard line. Return into Rattler territory. Cabrera on the return for Bethune-Cookman. The kick was very short. I don't know if the wind kicked up, but that's a 31-yard return. Tonight, most of you will see LaMichael James and the 4th-ranked Oregon Ducks host Matt Barkley and the USC Trojans. Others will see 5th-ranked Oklahoma face a tough road test at number 22 Baylor. Saturday Night Football presented by Southwest Airlines tonight, 8 Eastern. College football lives here.
That Oklahoma-Baylor game, that could get interesting. You know, Oklahoma's without Ryan Broyles for the rest of the season, and RG3, Robert Griffin III, down at Baylor. We know he can put plenty of points on the scoreboard.
Our game has gotten interesting in a hurry. Both teams have scored a touchdown here in the third quarter. It's Isadora Jackson on the carry. Big time plays for both of these teams here in the third.
And what you have to do right now, if you're Florida A&M, you've got to force Bethune-Cookman to throw the football. And if you're going to do that, you really have to have confidence in your defensive secondary.
Bethune-Cookman has already played a game here at the Citrus Bowl this season. As Jackson goes right up the middle, should be good enough for first down yardage. They beat Prairie View back on September 4th to start the season, 63-14.
And at the time when that game took place, we just thought maybe it was a bad Prairie View team, but Prairie View's on top of their conference in the SWAC Western Division, so it turns out that they really beat down a very good Prairie View team that's in SWAC championship contention.
Bethune-Cookman also played Miami tough in early October, only trailed by 7 late in the third quarter. Pass complete. That's the tight end, Jordan Murphy.
Oh, yeah, that's a foul.
And a flag comes out.
Patrick Harris, after the whistle, unnecessary. I mean, look at this. Great play action there by Wilson. Pulls the ball out, gets it to Jordan Murphy. Murphy hits it. Now watch at the end of the run, you're just going to see a body come flying by for no reason at all. Watch 36. Plays on the ground, 5 yards away from the tackle.
We have a dead ball.
Can't do
Personal
that.
foul, unnecessary roughness on the offense. Number 85. 15-yard penalty. First down.
All right, that's not Patrick Harris. That's John Dessian. But that's just a play you can't make right there.
Now the player that he hit was Anthony Shutt, number 36. Shutt had the block punt in the back of the end zone there in the first quarter that produced the first points of the game, a field goal for Florida A&M.
Just imagine they had the ball, you know, inside the 10-yard line. Now they're back here, ball on the 28-yard line. In a championship type of game or a game to advance in postseason play, that's a mental error, and you cannot make those.
Both coaches made no bones about it. They classify this one as the beginning of the playoffs. For either team to get there, they must win today. Swing it out. Jackson inside the 20. And he just doesn't stop, Jay, as Hepburn and Ojo combined on the tackle of powerful Isadora Jackson.
When you've got a running back that's got it going, that's what you like to have. That really opens up all the passing game. I mean, I think we've seen Bethune-Cookman attempt maybe 3 passes down the field beyond 10 yards. They're going with the horizontal passing game and the vertical running game.
That time Wilson kept it. That ball is loose. Rattlers say they have it. Wilson kept it on the play. It is Rattler football. Mike Decree fell on it. And Anthony Shutt was the guy who jarred it loose, so they strike, and then they strike again as they fall on the loose ball.
You learn about the Florida A&M traditions. This is one where Wilson gets spun around as a quarterback, and good job by Shutt of wrestling him to the ground and stripping this ball out. They're going to take a look at this. The MEAC Conference is the only conference in FCS football that has all of their televised games with instant review capability, and they're going to take a look at this one. I guess the only thing you can really take a look at is his knee down, but I think that comes out pretty cleanly.
Again, it was Shutt on the strip, and the cover by Mike Decree. It is under review. When we come back, we'll see if Florida A&M has possession of the football.
Saturday Night Football on ABC. USC Oregon.
With 8 minutes to go in the third quarter, that fumble on the previous play has been confirmed by video replay. It will be Rattler football. Big turnover.
Yeah, let's take a look at why this was created. Take a look at your tight end, Jordan Murphy. He's going to make a poor decision on who to block as Anthony Shutt is going to come in here. He becomes the most dangerous man, but you're going to see Murphy turn out, not block the most dangerous man, go upfield, and when a safety gets into the backfield that quickly, your quarterback simply does not have time to react.
So the Rattlers take over. The first turnover of the game for Bethune Cookman. Fleming. Incomplete. Brian Timms had a chance at it. That's the guy who sprung loose for the touchdown on their last possession.
How impressive is Damian Fleming? I mean, he's letting the ball fly. This is not his fault. Good route, good timing. This ball's thrown right on the money. It's a rope, and Timms doesn't come down with it. Damian Fleming has big-time talent. Out of high school, he gave a verbal commitment to go to Vanderbilt University. When they made the coaching change, he decided to come here to Florida A&M, and it's really paying off for the Rattler fans. He's got a very bright future.
That a Jay Walker type spiral, but Timms just couldn't handle it. Fleming wants to throw again, and again it's off the fingertips of the receiver Lennon.
I mean, right now, Damian Fleming's throwing darts right now. You can tell as a quarterback when you get in that type of zone, his only problem is you can't throw it and catch it. I mean, people in his face, but look at the accuracy of this throw. Come on, you've got to come up with that. If you've got a freshman quarterback, you've got to make that extra special catch. He's putting it right on the money, and he's not getting any help right now.
The Rattlers 2 for 7 on third down in the game. Gone to the air on the 2 previous plays. Before that, Fleming had connected on 3 straight through the air. Wants it again. Overshot his man. Diving play in the secondary, and it's intercepted. DJ Howard selling out.
They're trying to go with Linworth Lennon in the middle of the field. Ball gets away from him, takes off, and DJ Howard shows plenty of range. A great job of keeping that football off the turf to make it an interception.
That the third interception of the game for DJ Howard, sophomore from Daytona Beach, Florida. Bethune Cookman making that 54-mile trip here to Orlando. Down to the 30-yard line, Jonathan Moment. Jonathan Moment has a touchdown run coming in this third quarter. 7.5 minutes to go.
And that's the same type of formation they used before to give them the misdirection. Overload the right side and run it back to your left side. Florida A&M yet to make the adjustments.
Moment busted open the run on the previous drive. 43 yards for a touchdown. Bethune Cookman has strung together 13 first downs. Now Wilson trying to turn that corner. Gains the 30. Out of bounds just inside the 30. Forced out by Mike Dupree. Jay, give me your assessment of the way Wilson has managed the game for his head coach.
Game manager in the running game. That's really what they want him to do, is manage where we run the football. In a game like this where you're not really going to rely on his arm, they're asking him to manage the game, but he's made some very good throws, and they've had some drop balls too.
7-point lead for Bethune Cookman. The throw is complete. Eddie Poole went up to get that one. Now the scrum moves forward to the 13-yard line. It's a 16-yard play. Eddie Poole on the reception of the throw from Jackie Wilson.
Right when you start coming up trying to worry about the running game, play action, little pop pass. Poole doesn't catch it the first time, but he manages to bring it down on the second attempt. Good play call by Rob Spence.
1st and 10 from the 13. Jackson bounces inside the 10 to the 8. Anthony shut on the tackle. Isidore Jackson's numbers continue to pile up. This guy working hard in that backfield. The Bethune Cookman, 18 carries now, 84 yards. Call his number again. John Williams came in to make the stop on Jackson.
Now what they're going to do now is go with that heavy backfield, bring in Anthony Jordan, who had success pounding the football in the first half. Biggest back on the squad. So you got Jonathan Moment, the fullback, and Anthony Jordan. So now they're bringing in the beat, giving all signals that they're going to try and push the Rattlers around.
2 of 3 in the red zone, includes a 4-yard TD run from Anthony Jordan to the end zone. And he did it again from 6 yards out this time for number 4, Anthony Jordan.
We know they were going with the heavy formation, and they just wanted to pound it. And Anthony Jordan did a great job of just plowing his way through. It all starts when you see a fullback. Follow the fullback. Watch where the fullback goes, and normally you're going to see a successful running play. This is Jonathan Moment. He's in there as the lead back. He's going to get the collision with the linebacker there, find a crease, seal the deal. Touchdown for the Wildcats. See it right here coming into you. So you've got Moment doing a good job of getting to that second level, getting the body up on the linebacker, driving his man into the end zone. And Anthony Jordan needs to buy Jonathan Moment a little snack or something. That's great fullback blocking.
Second TD run of the game for Anthony Jordan. And again, the outcome of this game could have some bearing on those football championship subdivision playoffs. Norfolk State from the MEAC has already gotten in with the automatic bid. These teams need to win to join the party, Jay.
Yeah, these are the 4 teams that are in right now. They've clinched their conference title. They're in. But then you've got the teams that I think will get in where a lot to lose, and we'll show you some of those teams coming up.
Harvey. 30-yard line and down at the 30.
And here are the bubble teams that I'm talking about. You've got 3 spots pretty much open. The winner, either Bethune-Cookman or Florida A&M, I think is on the bubble. And also Portland State. I think they would get in, but they've only won 6 FCS football games. They've got to grow. Illinois State, a lot of people think they're in. I don't think so. I think they're on the bubble. They're going to have to win today to solidify that. And speaking of which, we've got the bubble scoreboard, and look at that. So I'm going to tell you right now, that should keep Illinois State out of the postseason right there with that loss there. Austin Peay losing to Tennessee Tech, so Tech is going to be in. They've won that division there. Youngstown getting beat. I think that wipes out Youngstown. So now I feel pretty confident saying that after looking at that bubble scoreboard, the winner of this game is going to get an invitation to the FCS playoffs. I believe. This is Jay Walker's opinion, but with those teams losing, and Wofford was trailing as well, a team that I had in, they were trailing. I could see the winner easily getting invited. Exciting day for the MEAC Conference.
And we'll see your opinion tomorrow. See if it comes true, Jay. 10 a.m. ESPNU, the football championship subdivision playoff selection show. Our own Jay Walker providing his insight. For Florida A&M, it has not been to the football championship subdivision playoff since 2001. It had made it 4 years in a row leading up to 2001. That pass from Fleming falls incomplete.
Another drop pass. I mean, this starts to frustrate you as a quarterback. As a senior, you can say, okay, pick it up, we can get it going. But if you're a freshman, you're saying, come on, guys, what are you doing? So they've got to really come up and make a couple plays, because Damian Fleming is putting the ball where he needs to. They're just not helping him.
I had a chance to chat with Fleming at the walkthrough yesterday in a field right nearby here at the Citrus Bowl. And Fleming said, I lead by example, by my play. He's not very vocal. You can understand that as a freshman, but when you're making the plays and it's not happening for you, as Jay noted, you feel the frustration. Flags are out. Throw on the run is complete to Harvey. But again, a flag came out as Fleming was scrambling. It will be 13 yards on the play, but it will be nullified with the penalty marker.
I mean, this is why this kid is so special. The holding's going to occur at the top of your screen on number 64 on Ryan Davis. That's a hold. But look at this. Look at the vision, the mobility. Once he escapes, he had a split second to get rid of that football. Not only did he get rid of it, he had a completion that would have been for a first down. You can really grow your program around a guy like Damian Fleming.
So a couple of completions that would have been for a total of 37 yards for Fleming erased by penalties. Florida A&M trailing 24-10. We've seen 3 touchdowns here in the third quarter. 2 by Bethune Cookman. The one by the Rattlers was a Fleming to Tim's connection. 62 yards. This pass is complete and a wicked hit on the play. The helmet popped off. But what a collision. Gene Fenor, number 9, came in and laid the hit, and there is a marker on the field.
2 markers on the field, but watch this dart. I mean, this is confidence in your arm. Once he gets around that safety, that's an indefensible pass. If you're Fenor, all you can try and do is dislodge it. But this is a great throw. And listen to the hit.
But Jay, look at the reaction from Lennon. Gets right up, starts shouting at his own sideline.
Against the defense, but we have a dead ball, unsportsmanlike against the offense. The line of the game was made, so we'll have 1st and 10 after marking off the 15-yard penalty.
So we had penalties against both the offense and defense. Now his helmet was knocked off by the force of the hit from Fenor.
How often do you see a guy get tagged, yet he gets penalized for unsportsmanlike conduct? See, they're going to get him for the spin of the ball.
And he didn't take his helmet off. He got it knocked off. He popped right up, to his credit. So they have marked the ball at the 27-yard line of Florida A&M. Gene Fenor had Lenworth Lennon lined up. So from the 27-yard line, call it 1st and 10. 3:47 and counting here in the third quarter. Page. Another collision at the 30-yard line. And the intensity starting to amp up as he met with Ryan Lewis, the senior from Pompano Beach, Florida, for Bethune Cookman.
Feeling out process is over with and done. Both of these teams right now are playing at a very high level, offensively and defensively. When you've got 2 solid objects going head to head, there'll be some big hits and collisions, and something's got to give.
2nd and 6. Just beyond its own 30 for Florida A&M. Fleming threading one in there. Great pass. Better catch. Etheridge, 8 yards, and a 1st down for the Rattlers.
I mean, Damian Fleming, is he throwing darts right now? Everything's on the money. Small windows, play action pass, set your feet, make the throw. Look how small that window is. And threw it right on the money.
Jay, what's the word all of the coaches from Florida A&M used about this guy? Composure.
Composure.
To a man, they all said he has uncanny composure for a player of his youth.
And they say when he came in as a quarterback, they could expand the playbook rather than shrink the playbook.
They want to let him do something here, running, improvising, and falling forward close to midfield. Reggie Sandilands tripped him up. We do have a penalty marker. There's a 10-yard gain on the run by Fleming. But the officials have a meeting going on right at midfield, right above that Florida Classic logo with the helmets of the Rattlers and the Wildcats at midfield.
We have a personal foul, unnecessary roughness on the defense. 15 yards to the end of the run. First down.
Well, as we say in football, the same things that make you laugh, they can turn around and make you cry. Florida A&M was penalized for unsportsmanlike conduct. Now, same thing happens to Bethune Cookman.
Look at Brian Jenkins trying to plead his case, but they will spot that football at the 37-yard line of Bethune Cookman. And a confident Damian Fleming under center for the Rattlers in orange and green. Up the middle, busting loose inside the 30. Levante Page. DJ Howard made the tackle.
As they're moving forward, they're starting to have some success running the football. And I think the only reason they're able to run the ball now is because Bethune Cookman is scared of the right arm of Damian Fleming. So they're softening up their coverage, and the running lanes are getting bigger.
They'll run it again. Out of bounds, Page turning the corner. Damian Fleming now is 12 of 21. He has thrown a couple of interceptions, but he's up to 192 yards and a touchdown score. That to Tim's of 62 yards in this third quarter.
12 of 21. He's had at least 4 drop balls that we've seen, which has really messed up his day in terms of efficiency. Now with the first down, if I'm Joe Taylor, I don't take my foot off the gas. I don't start pounding the football. I keep spreading them out and throwing the football when I've got a quarterback that's on fire right now. Go play action.
Harvey is that motion man for the Rattlers. There's Jay's play action. Little dump off and complete. Shy of the 20 to Etheridge. Takes 4 and 5 guys, and there might have been some activity after the whistles. Flags have come out. So we have seen the emotion of this football game and this rivalry and what's at stake, Jay Walker, really start to bubble to the top here in the Citrus Bowl.
And it's been disappointing because it's been a very hard-fought football game. You hate to see young men make these type of mistakes and lose their cool with so much on the line.
Ball, personal foul on the offense, number 88. 15 yards from the end of the run.
You see Fleming do a good job of going to his third option there, Etheridge. Now Etheridge is the ball carrier.
Oh, wow. 48 in black was Cornelius Wheeler, and Etheridge wasn't too pleased at the way Wheeler was trying to bring him to the turf. And he's just saying he tried to turn into him, but the officials don't agree, and Etheridge is on the sidelines. Penalty situation, that one. 15 yards in the personal foul against the Rattlers. Now 80 total yards penalty-wise for Florida A&M. Trying to extend its winning streak in the Classic to 4. Pocket collapses. Fleming goes down at the 40. Harold Love III.
Everybody knew that they were going to throw the football. Good job by the secondary, Bethune Cookman, not allowing any free ride receivers to run down the field untouched. A body on a body, and Big Harold Love gets a sack. That's his 3rd sack on the season.
So Fleming, 6 of 10 here in the second half, but as Jay mentioned, a couple of balls that could have been caught as well. There's 3rd and 24. Dig deep in the playbook for this one off a 4-receiver set. Flag comes out. Fleming throws on the run. It is picked off. Gene Fenor made the interception. There's also a flag on the play, and there's only 4 seconds left in the quarter. See what we get here, Jay Walker.
Crucial call.
Got holding on the offense. Number 58. This penalty is declined. Helps in the play. First down.
So the interception by Fenor will stand. 4th turnover of the game for the Rattlers. And now DJ Howard has one, and so does Fenor.
Wow, look at it. What a job by Fenor, reaching back to catch that ball with his fingertips. That's how you play free safety. This ball has to be a couple inches off the ground, and he still has strong enough grip to come up with that interception. Big play for Bethune Cookman.
So maybe a situation there where Fleming might have wanted to hang on to that one, Jay Walker. There is a review going on to confirm the play, confirm the interception by Fenor. It was Fleming on the run.
And the key thing is he didn't see Fenor following him. That's what you've got to know as a quarterback. When you leave the middle of the field, there's going to be a safety that's just going to follow you, not the man that's being covered downfield. And Fenor did an excellent job of keeping that ball off the turf.
And in fact, it is an interception by Fenor. Jackie Wilson on the carry. Anthony Shutt made the tackle. That is the final play of the 3rd quarter. So the Wildcats from Bethune Cookman trying to stop that Rattler 3-game winning streak lead after 3. Welcome back to the Florida Citrus Bowl and the Florida Classic as we take a look at the 3rd quarter. 3 total TDs by the teams, just 1 in the first half. A couple by Bethune Cookman. Florida A&M with a long passing play as well. As today it's Bringing the Flavor, brought to you by McDonald's.
Florida Classic. Halftime. Lewis Owens. Christopher Leonard. Wait a minute.
That was McDonald's Bringing the Flavor as 60,218 fans on hand to witness the 32nd edition of the Florida Football Classic. Bethune Cookman with the ball. Rodney Scott of the running play. Just a fantastic setting for college football, a game that has so much importance to both of these programs, and this year in particular because they need wins to be considered for the football championship subdivision playoffs. Here's 3rd and short for Bethune Cookman. A hit right at the 30 on Anthony Jordan. Now he needed to get to the 30. This is going to be really close, Jeff.
Anthony Jordan got popped, but he's such a load to bring down. He absorbed the initial blow and kept his momentum going forward. Watch this. The safety's going to meet him in the hole, deliver a good pop to him. That's Anthony Shutt. But Jordan just bounced off, kept moving forward, picked up the first down.
They have played the Classic since 1978. It's also been played in Tampa as well. But over 1.6 million fans have witnessed this rivalry, the final game of the regular season between the Rattlers from Florida A&M and the Wildcats from Bethune Cookman. The Florida Citrus Bowl, our host all week. Thanks to all of the people involved in putting on this tremendous show. So much surrounding this game besides the actual play between the white lines. We saw the bands perform at halftime as well. All the flavor and history all combining here at the Florida Citrus Bowl.
It's a special place. Take a look at the attendance, over 60,000 in attendance, and I'm sure the rain scared a couple people away with the clouds in the area and the wind, but probably another 35,000 outside the parking lot. The tailgate that's got the whole stadium smelling like Mama's kitchen.
Serious tailgating going on prior to this game, and in the days leading up to the Florida Classic, the recreational vehicles parked outside the stadium.
If I was Florida A&M, I wouldn't be sold that they're going to throw the football. Watch the quarterback draw. Bethune doesn't seem like they want to throw the ball in the second half.
Wilson to the 40, diving forward, met by Brandon Hepburn. Now the spot, he needs to get to the 41, Jay.
Got a short spot there. They tried to spread him out, go with the 5 wide receiver look. Florida A&M was not buying it. They kept 2 linebackers home and make it tough, and I don't know if Jackie Wilson was able to pick up the first down. See, once they spread you out like this, orange body on black jersey, good job of scraping and get the help. He might have got a short spot. If you look from right there where he ends, he should have it. Looks like they're going by the knee. That's a tough one. That spot didn't give him the benefit of the doubt of the extra lean forward he put.
So it'll be 4th down for Brian Jenkins, who knows all about the Florida Football Classic. When he was a youngster, his uncle was in charge of security for Bethune Cookman, and he used to take him into this game. So if anybody knows about everything surrounding this game, the importance of the rivalry, and trying to get his team back to the playoffs this season, that guy knows about it, Brian Jenkins.
Yeah, I mean, he said he grew up around this game. So when I asked him what was it like to coach in a Florida Classic, was he ready for all the atmosphere and the distraction, he said, I grew up on the Florida Classic. I was born to participate in the Florida Classic.
His team led at halftime 27-14 last year, but it was A&M coming back with the win, 38-27. And Jenkins' team was 10-0 leading into that game. So there is a timeout on the field. 11:55 to go in the Florida Football Classic. Yep. 11:55 to go in the 4th quarter. Jay Walker, this previous play and the spot under review.
If they needed to get to the 41-yard line, and take a look at the knee. When does the knee go down? Great second effort by Jackie Wilson. As he's extending now, that ball's on the 41.5-yard line. That would be more than enough for the first down. And after they reviewed it, they came up with the right decision. First down, Bethune Cookman, as the Wildcat band, as if they don't have enough to celebrate. Now they've got a little bit more to celebrate with them holding on to the football.
You have to love that soundtrack that comes along with this Florida Football Classic. We saw great performances from both bands at halftime.
What'd you think? You want to declare who the winner was?
I couldn't take my eyes off it. It was wonderful. Everybody going different directions. They formed a plane and a ship and played such wonderful music. It was just a treat to be able to experience the halftime show here at the Florida Classic.
What I like is the hype man. You know, you got to see
he hypes it up.
He gets the crowd rocking, you know. So what you see at home, what you hear at home, you got to know what they're saying and why the crowd gets it going. They all talk trash.
Yeah, credit to the Marching Wildcats and the Marching 100 from Florida A&M, providing our halftime festivities. So again, there was a video review on the spot, and it goes in favor of Bethune Cookman because originally the spot was short of the first down. Based on the video review, they spot it close to the 42-yard line. Accurately articulated by our own Jay Walker, who said that Wilson had at least the 41.5, and in fact Jay was right on the money as usual.
Thank you, partner.
You got it. Running play up the middle. Rodney Scott. And now Bethune Cookman, Jay, they're going to use that clock to their advantage without question.
But that's been their game plan in the second half. Just run the football, and Florida A&M does not seem willing to commit to putting that extra defender in the box close to the line of scrimmage to force Bethune-Cookman to throw the football. Once a team starts getting close to midfield, then I think you have to make some changes, come out your comfort zone. And look at this. They've rushed for over 225 yards and thrown it for just 83. And they're going to keep running the football.
They are the top rushing offense in the conference, averaging close to 260 yards per game on the ground. That is 6th best in the entire football championship subdivision. Bethune-Cookman went to the playoffs last year out of the MEAC along with South Carolina State. The Wildcats lost in the second round. They got a first-round bye last year. Technically they lost in the second round, their first game against UNH. The only other loss the whole season last year was right here at the Classic against Florida A&M.
This is a big play right here. Florida A&M is completely selling out to stop the run.
Poole. And that brings a streak of 4 in a row on third down for Bethune-Cookman to an end, as John Ojo was there. Demarius Folson, who now up to 12 tackles for Folson, leading the way defensively for the Rattlers.
And although last season it ended up being a three-way tie for the MEAC title, Bethune-Cookman got the automatic bid, and it was a dream season for Bethune-Cookman. And they were the #1 team in black college football. They were rolling on all cylinders until Matt Johnson went down, and then they went on to lose 2 consecutive games in 4 out of 5, and they've regrouped well to put themselves in a position to possibly make it to a repeat berth in the playoffs.
For Bethune, their first MEAC championship since '02 in the first season on the bench for Brian Jenkins, as that one rolls out of bounds. There is a timeout in Orlando, Florida. 24-10 Bethune.
ESPN's College Football is presented by McDonald's. I'm loving it.
(24-10) here in the fourth quarter. Bethune-Cookman with the lead, looking to join the postseason playoffs in the football championship subdivision. And here's Jay's bubble scoreboard. And Jay, give us a look at how things are shaking down.
Well, I think you've got a couple teams that are out. I think Northern Illinois is no longer going to be there. They're gone. They lost there. Give credit to Tennessee Tech. They won the OVC. They're in, so they've got a great chance. And also, let's X out Youngstown State there with that loss there. I don't think they're going to get in. That's our teams on the bubble scoreboard right now.
From around the football championship subdivision. And those playoffs culminate January 7th. Frisco, Texas is the site of that championship game. Interestingly enough, the two teams that played in the title game last year, nowhere to be found on the bubble scoreboard or on our graphics. Eastern Washington, the champ, and Delaware, the finalist. That pass incomplete. They tried to go deep to Kevin Elliott.
Kevin Elliott underestimated the arm strength of his young freshman quarterback. He stopped running around 35 yards down the field.
So the Rattlers have fought field position, Jay, the third time in their last 4 drives that they have to start inside their own 20. 2nd and 10 from the 11 of the Rattlers. A 4-receiver set for Fleming. Play whistle dead.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense, number 76. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Nine and a half minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Saw 3 touchdowns scored in the third. Jonathan Moment, 43-yard run. Anthony Jordan, a 6-yard run for Bethune-Cookman scoring. And then Timms had a catch 62 yards from Fleming for the TD for the Rattlers in the third quarter. Into the end zone. Fleming back to get it. And the officials trying to dig in there. He's ruled it a touchdown. Number 49, Ryan Davis. A fumble recovery in the end zone as Fleming tried to cover it. Couldn't do it, and Davis was there.
This was just a low snap from the center. Fleming didn't have an opportunity to get it.
So Ryan Davis, his third fumble recovery of the season, is good for 6 points. And now the play is going to be reviewed. And as Jay mentioned, the MEAC, when its games are on television, utilizes the video replay system.
It all starts with just a poor snap there. This is where Fleming makes a freshman mistake. Fall on the football. You don't know what's behind you. He's trying to get it. See, the ball stays in play. They've got to keep that touchdown on the board. Very good camera angle right there. You get a solid look at it. I mean, poor snap. He's got no chance at that. To his left side. Wishes he would have fell on the ball. Trying to make a play. Gets away from him. Ball's in play. He doesn't have control of it. It stays right there. And there's Ryan Davis to get it. And he's clearly in the end zone for a touchdown.
Yeah, either way, the point is take the 2 points as opposed to the 6, because what is the likelihood he's going to be able to make a play after scooping up that football, Jay? It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
And you're taught that unless you can peek in your rear view mirror and just kind of take a peek at what's behind you with your peripheral vision, you're taught balls behind you, go fall on it, unless you absolutely know they're not gaining on you. That's something he has to learn. That's a coaching point. That's why they say you can coach him up as a freshman. Next time that play happens, look for him to make a smarter decision and just fall on the football.
Nothing more unpredictable than the bounce of a football, and that one went in the favor of Bethune Cookman.
And if you're down by 14 points and you take the safety, you're still within 2 scores. Touchdown, 2 touchdowns, 2 two-point conversions, you can tie the game up. You give up the 7 points now, you're down by 21 points. That requires at least 3 touchdowns to win.
Again, the play is being reviewed. But based on the fine replay work by our production team here at the Florida Citrus Bowl, it appears that Ryan Davis is going to be credited for the fumble recovery in the end zone and 6 points for the Wildcats from Bethune Cookman.
Remember when the NFL first came out with the instant replay and they just took so much time they would hide, then they put the timer on there? I think, they're still tweaking this, but they need to start going with the timer. If you don't see enough indisputable evidence there to overturn it within a certain time frame.
And again, the vast majority of the football championship subdivision does not use video replay. In fact, it is only used in the semifinals and finals when you get to the championship game. But again, here it is, and it was Fleming. Thought about trying to scoop it up. I think he realized, Jay, in mid-play that, can I pick it up? No. I need to fall on this. By the time he did, the contact was there by the other Wildcats converging on it. So some anxious looks from that Bethune-Cookman sideline. And Ryan Davis, number 49, senior from Tampa, Florida. So the review continues. It was called a touchdown recovery in the back of the end zone by the official who was all over it.
The play, the FAMU player touched the ball when the ball was loose in the end zone. The FAMU player feet was out of bounds. Therefore, we have a safety.
So you heard the ruling. It is now been called a safety in the back of the end zone, Jay, because Fleming had contact with the end line and the football simultaneously.
He did not have the ball simultaneously. It was gone. See, I think if you look at that angle, it looks like he's holding on to the football when he's out of bounds. But the other angle showed the ball was clearly a yard in play. See, this angle right here shows the ball stays in the field of play. He doesn't have it. He doesn't have it. It's gone. I completely disagree with that call there. And I'm not one to get in the middle of the official's business there, but if you're saying he had simultaneous possession with that ball while he was out of bounds, I disagree. Now, if I'm Brian Jenkins, I would challenge your opinion.
And to your point, Jay, now that makes it a two-score game still.
Yes. It keeps them in the game, and they go back to having the opportunity to score 2 touchdowns and 2 two-point conversions, and they can tie this up.
So the call was reviewed. Initially called the TD recovery for Ryan Davis of Bethune Cookman. It has been changed to a safety.
And if you're the Rattlers, you still got light. You still have hope. Big call for them.
So Brian Jenkins' team will get the football. Joe Taylor, 4th year and 29th overall. The thing that was missing for his senior class going to the postseason. We've got some work to do here in the 4th quarter. Cleckley, the deep man for Bethune Cookman. Moss into Florida A&M territory. Tonight, ESPN has the #1 and #9 ranked teams in the BCS in primetime college football. First at 7 Eastern, the top-ranked LSU Tigers visit Ole Miss. 26-10 lead. And the difficulties experienced by this Florida A&M team, and it started with an interception, then a fumble by Fleming.
And it just kept to steamroll from there, and they just couldn't get it going. Hold on the football.
Now the good news for Florida A&M is that Fleming has lived up to his billing as being composed. Now there are some tweaks that he'll need to make clearly as a freshman quarterback, but the experience, Jay, that he's gotten invaluable in his first season. Came into the game 5-1 as a starter. Came on in the game against Southern earlier this year, which Florida A&M won. Rodney Scott on the carry. Fleming's numbers are not that bad, Jay, really. 13 of 24, 196 yards. He's got a touchdown. Does have 3 interceptions.
Well, that came from trying to force the action on the 3 interceptions. Sometimes it just wasn't there when he was scrambling out of the pocket. Those 3 interceptions hurt, but he's got some things there that you can't teach. You know, having a strong arm, I believe you either have it or you don't. He's got that and the ability to make all the throws.
Just some growing pains that he will go through. But again, that experience that he got this first year will lead to good things for Florida A&M. Rodney Scott on the carry for Bethune Cookman. Using that clock now inside of 8 minutes. 26-10. A safety just a moment ago for the Wildcats to increase their lead to 16. Close to the 25-yard line. Jackson. Correction, Rodney Scott.
If you're Bethune Cookman right now, you've got to start feeling like, hey, if we can pick up 1 more first down, put us in field goal range, they can really, really come that much closer to winning this football game and sealing the deal. See, they're in no hurry offensively, taking their time, letting the play clock wind down.
Jordan inside the 20. Flag came out late. Anthony Jordan, who has a couple of touchdown runs of 4 and 6 yards in the contest. We go across to the defensive side for the Rattlers. Let's find out where Patrick Scott is from. Brought to you by the United States Marine. Patrick Scott, number 95 in orange and green. A junior on this Florida A&M defense. And right now getting
against the offense, number
a quick
24.
drink, but he's from Tallahassee, Florida. Transfer from Stanford. Look at that. Biology pre-med major. And I had a chance to talk to him yesterday. Intelligent young man. Knew all about what was at stake here against Bethune-Cookman, with the winner of this game having the inside track to a potential spot in the playoffs, Chair.
Well, with the pre-med major, you know, he definitely knows everything that's going on. And when you got a chance to talk to the young man, you realize that his family is a very well-educated family. Parents are a doctor there and an engineering degree there, so the fruit doesn't fall too far away from the tree. Great when you see guys getting it done on the field and also in the classroom.
Patrick Scott, number 95. Again, Florida A&M has won the last 3 Florida football classics and 5 of the last 6. Joe Taylor 4 times, Jay, the coach of the year in the MEAC. Penalty going against Bethune-Cookman here. With Jenkins just in his 2nd season, Taylor across the way spent 16 years as the head coach at Hampton. Most wins in school history. Brian Jenkins trying to carve out his own legend for Bethune-Cookman. But there is the legend on the other sideline in Joe Taylor.
Over 200 career victories on the sideline. Really gets credit, made a name for himself when he took Division II Hampton University into the MEAC conference and made them perennial winners in a powerhouse. Really basically built that program from scratch and came into Florida A&M and did a good job of revitalizing this program, getting them competitive. And it seems as if right now they may fall a little bit short in their quest for a postseason playoff if they can't find a quick solution for this running game and the way to get some more points on the board.
And as you look at that winning percentage for Taylor, also 5 MEAC championships as the head coach at Hampton, and he knows about playoffs. 7 times he took Hampton to the postseason. So we've got the penalty all sorted out. Ball back to the 40 of A&M. But again, Bethune-Cookman has that clock on its side, up 26-10 here in the 4th.
Yeah, but think how huge that penalty was. They had the ball on the 21-yard line, almost within chip shot field goal range. Huge unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. Now they're not in field goal range. They're going to need to pick up at least 15 more yards to have a chance at it. And Florida A&M's bringing everybody up to the line of scrimmage. They're doing run blitzes on every snap of the ball now.
And after Oklahoma State and Iowa State last night, you just never know what's going to happen. It was a 14-point game also in the 3rd quarter last night. Iowa State pulled off the upset. Rodney Scott getting the bulk of the carries as of late, down to the 39 of Florida A&M. Scott is a junior, Cross City, Florida. Best game of the season came against Hampton. 15 carries and 126 yards. Again, Bethune-Cookman was just 2-3 through its first 5 games, and they're looking for 6 in a row as we move into the evening hours here in Orlando, Florida. Deep pass. Intercepted.
Got some room to run.
Johnson. And up close to the 40-yard line. 31-yard return. Terry Johnson with his 5th interception of the season. The most on that Florida A&M defense. So when we come back, it will be Rattlers football. 5:22 to go in the Classic.
Man Up is all new.
Yes! Yes!
ABC Tuesday.
Bethune-Cookman with a 26-10 lead, but just a moment ago an interception made by Terry Johnson, his 5th of the year. So the Rattlers get the ball back, 5:22 to go, but they have had 4 turnovers in the football game that have been costly.
Well, this was early on in the contest. I think while Fleming was just getting his feet wet in this football game, feeling comfortable, he put the ball on the ground a couple times, but then he started to fail command of it. It just made some poor decisions, trying to do a little bit extra.
And that play did result in a safety for the Rattlers, trailing 26-10. Pass in the flat, complete. Rocker across midfield. And then forced out of bounds by Gene Fenor, number 9, who had perhaps the hit of the game on Lenworth Lennon in that 3rd quarter. 15 yards on that play. Clock stops, 5:14 to go in the game. Now it runs after they set the football. First down, Florida A&M. Pass complete is Harvey. Spins his way up. And Harvey to the 42-yard line.
And right now, Florida A&M is in hurry-up offense mode, realizing with less than 5 minutes to go and they need at least 2 touchdowns. They've got to hurry up and run their 2-minute offense.
Fleming cannot connect with his intended receiver, Brian Timms. Those 2 guys hit it for 62 yards in the 3rd quarter. That one falling incomplete.
And you got to be thinking, how much closer would this football game be if the Florida A&M wide receivers were able to hold on to the football and make some catches, and the ball was thrown right on the money.
Just 2 of 8 on 3rd down of the game for Florida A&M. Pressure Kane. Fleming got it away. Ball came out at the end of the play after the catch by Harvey, and it's picked up. Daniel Rhodes is number 27. Still dancing. Daniel Rhodes to the 43-yard line. Looks like Reggie Sandilands might have jarred that football loose. We just talked about the miscues from Florida A&M. Harvey made the catch, but the ball came out. 5 turnovers in the game for the A&M Rattlers.
I think that one right there is going to be the one that ends the football season in hopes for Joe Taylor's football squad.
We have 2 fouls on the play. We have a personal foul, unnecessary roughness against the offense. We have a dead ball, personal foul, unnecessary roughness against the defense. The penalties are set. First down.
See here, Fleming's going to do a good job of hitting his check down right before Ryan Davis makes the sack, but carrying that ball like a loaf of bread. No, sir, not on the football field. No room for that. Good job of forcing the fumble by Sandilands.
3rd fumble recovery of the season for Rhodes. And that's Patrick Scott. We just talked about him as he spun down the ball carrier, Rodney Scott.
Look at that. Look at the last 4 possessions for Florida A&M. 2 interceptions, fumble. It's just like right when they started getting back in the football contest, the wheels just fell off and they couldn't stop.
Momentum swings. And in the 3rd quarter, it was those 2 touchdowns from Bethune Cookman. Moment 43-yard run. Jordan 6-yard run to increase that lead to 24-10. And a safety earlier in this 4th quarter. 26-10. That's where we are. Whistle dead before the snap on this play, and a timeout taken by Bethune Cookman. So the Wildcats and head coach Brian Jenkins closing in on a win at the Florida Football Classic.
Are you embarrassed by the grout in your home? Chemicals and scrubbing just don't work.
6497 or go to groutbully.com.
Back in Orlando, Bethune-Cookman 26-10, the lead over Florida A&M late in the fourth quarter. And today's Lexus player of the game from Bethune-Cookman University, Ryan Davis, number 49, in black and maroon.
Coming from his defensive end position, just constant pressure in the backfield on the quarterback. Everywhere the football was, you saw Ryan Davis there making plays happen. A sack, a tackle for a loss, a fumble, a forced fumble. He was all over the place, and something tells me this won't be the last we see of Ryan Davis in his football playing days.
Senior from Tampa, Florida. Potentially projected at the next level. We will see. The work is done for tonight. Those 12 sacks, by the way, for Davis now lead the conference. 8th best in the entire nation with those 12 sacks. As Anthony Jordan, who has a couple of touchdown rushes to his credit this evening on the carry for the Wildcats.
Jordan really came in here and gave them that spark when they were kind of running flat, trying to run sideways. They went to Anthony Jordan, and he started running hard between the tackles, and 8 carries for 29 yards, averaging almost 4 yards a carry. He really got it going.
Got the call again right there, Jay, as well. Isidore Jackson led the way, 19 carries, 88 yards. Moment, 43-yard touchdown run. That in the third quarter for Jonathan Moment. We've got a timeout on the field. Bethune-Cookman starting the season 2-3. Brian Jenkins, a masterful job on that sideline once again after winning a school record 10 games last year. And with a win today, Jay Walker, it looks like they're going to have a shot at the postseason without a doubt, despite that North Carolina A&T loss.
I think what you have to look for is their body of work. The Prairie View win was a statement win, first game of the year, good one. The loss of South Carolina State's a very good football team. It hurts, but doesn't hurt that bad. Signature win versus Hampton University, and a signature win versus Norfolk State University, and a signature win here tonight versus Florida A&M has me thinking they're going to postseason play.
It's a lot of signatures, Jay Walker. They have signed off on a victory here. They will punt it away. Takes a slight Wildcat bounce down to the 15-yard line. They will down it just inside the 15. Tonight, most of you will see LaMichael James and the 4th-ranked Oregon Ducks hosting of the season against.
They make you go to your second and third team players out there because they run so many plays off, and they just wear you down in the second half.
So the 5 turnovers in our game for Florida A&M, that matches a season high, unfortunately for Rattler fans, and that pass is incomplete. Rocker, the intended receiver, number 9.
Intended for Rocker.
Florida A&M won a share of the crown last year in the MEAC with Bethune-Cookman and South Carolina State. That's the first title of any kind in 9 years for the Rattlers, who were hoping to be a part of the postseason. Both of these teams knew what was at stake.
Let's go.
Pass incomplete at the near sideline in front of that Bethune-Cookman bench. The Rattlers were riding a 4-game winning streak of their own. This season included a win at South Carolina State, first since 2001
not
against the Bulldogs.
To win. Orangeburg is probably the most difficult road trip within the MEAC conference.
You know, Jay, despite the outcome here, the game they might look back on would be the one against Howard, losing 29-28. They led 21-0 early in the fourth quarter of that game and went on to lose to Howard, which scored 29 points in that fourth quarter.
Yep. They uncontested, so Florida A&M had a 28-0 lead in the fourth quarter, and they gave up 29 points. And Coach Taylor thought his team just started celebrating at the halftime, didn't come out to play in the second half, and the Howard Bison went down there and ruined the Florida A&M homecoming.
We approach the final 2 minutes here from Orlando, Florida. This is Rocker. Rocker across the 45-yard line for the Rattlers. And Florida A&M was also riding a 3-game winning streak in this classic. The seniors for Bethune Cookman will be able to celebrate a victory finally in the Florida Football Classic after having the lead at halftime last year and then a second half comeback by the Rattlers. Not happening this year, as it was a 10-3 advantage at halftime for Bethune Cookman, which scored a couple of TDs in the third quarter.
One thing that
sideline on the defense, 5-yard penalty.
Now if Bethune Cookman doesn't focus right now and stop this drive that Florida A&M has, they need one more stop. With a minute and 45 to go, if Florida A&M can get some throws into the end zone, maybe come up with a big catch, onside kick, there's time. They're still going to need the two-point conversion. So I'm sure Coach Jenkins and defensive coordinator Yogi Jones want to see the defense make one more stance to put this thing away.
Fleming got it away, but well into the A&M bench area. Now 3rd and 5 for the Rattlers. Tom Wormy and former Howard quarterback Jay Walker, along with our outstanding production crew. So glad you joined us this afternoon and evening from the Orlando, Florida area and the Florida Citrus Bowl for the 32nd Florida Football Classic. Just a thrill to be involved in this whole event, Jay, and thanks to all the people who were involved in and around the Orlando area and for the Classic. Pass complete. Elliott's got first down yardage, so the clock stops momentarily. 1:31 to go. Jay, they got to think about the end zone real soon here.
They've got to make some deep throws down the field. I like the play selection there. Get the first down, give your set another set of downs, but now start going to the vertical passing game.
Tomorrow on ESPNU, 10 a.m., the football championship subdivision playoff selection show with our own Jay Walker on hand. As that pass is completed to 25. Lennon gets away, and Lennon down to the 11. 32 yards for the Rattlers.
Bethune Cookman using the prevent defense, and the cliche says all it does is prevent you from stopping the opposing offense. Good job by Fleming, buying some more time. 2 wide receivers in the same location, but once Lennon makes the catch, Kevin Elliott becomes a blocker.
Whistles come out before the snap. Fleming now 19 of 35. 276 yards. And Bethune Cookman has used a timeout. So Brian Jenkins doesn't want to see this one escape his clutches as what happened last year.
Somebody's catching an ear for him.
Yeah. Yep.
And I agree with that. You've got to coach all the way through the game. You know, everybody starts celebrating early. No, it's not the time. Get your personnel out there. Let's stop this drive. And I think every coach likes to end the game in a victory formation as opposed to having the defense on the field.
The Vizio BCS standings as we move up to the Bowl Championship.
Might present some challenges to them. I think they'll probably push them around, but it's not a done deal yet.
The discussion continues at the Bowl subdivision level. Pass incomplete from Fleming.
Well, that loss last night by Oklahoma State, that just shook up everything, didn't it? Just imploded.
Amazing
everybody
game.
Thought.
Amazing game. You saw it on ESPN last night. And the celebration afterward by those Iowa State fans, and in the wake of everything that had happened for Oklahoma State with the tragedy, losing a couple of coaches from the women's basketball program, and they had to deal with that some 10 years ago with coaches and players, broadcasters from the men's basketball program. So there was so much surrounding the game last night as Oklahoma State had to play with maybe their thoughts elsewhere during portions of that football game, and understandably so.
surprised Florida A&M's not electing to use the timeouts right now. If you've got 2 remaining, stop that clock. Even if you recover an onside kick, you're going to need it.
11th play of the drive that started at their own 15. Fleming dancing to the end zone and a touchdown. Dwayne Harvey.
With the reception for the touchdown.
So Fleming has thrown his second TD toss of the game, given 11 for the season, and for Harvey, his first TD grab of the year.
Yeah, that was all done by Damian Fleming, buying some time, moving around in the pocket, and right when he was a threat to run the football, he pulled up and made the pass. Got the touchdown, but now, we talked about earlier, not only do they have to score, but they've got to go for 2 and convert. You see Fleming here, looks like he's running the ball all the way. Jump pass, touchdown.
So Jay, you knew 2 here. What's your play call?
I think you spread them out just to give them the threat of the quarterback running the football. And then if they don't react to it, you just find your best matchup and overload one side of the field.
Rattlers need this. A flag is out. Throw to the goal line. No indication. Receiver was short, and there is a flag on the field. Far side of the field, 4-yard line. The pass completion was short of the goal line.
Does the Bethune defense know that there was a penalty? They're all walking off the field.
And it's against Bethune Cookman. So the Rattlers get another crack at it as they march off half the distance from the 3. Syracuse math tells me that's the 1.5-yard line, Jay.
1.5. So now that changes up your play selection. Now you still want to spread them out, but you don't need the number count to be on your side in terms of the number of defenders they keep in the box. If it's even, you can run the football.
Overload the left side. You see the 3 receivers. Fleming through the hands of Elliott. And that may have done it for the Rattlers. With just 13 seconds to go, they absolutely needed that 2-point conversion to have any hope.
Yeah, that ball just had a little bit too much velocity. They were on the 1.5-yard line, so it's not a deep throw, but he really stepped into this throw, throwing a bullet from 10 yards away. Most receivers aren't going to come down with that ball there.
(26-16) the final 13 seconds. Over 60,000 fans witnessing the 32nd edition and 15th here at the Florida Citrus Bowl of the Florida Classic. And it appears this season Florida A&M's 3-year reign as the champ of this classic game will be ending. In fact, they'd won 5 of the last 6 between these 2 teams, but it's Bethune Cookman and its seniors and head coach Brian Jenkins. And does this get them a spot in the postseason? Jay Walker.
According to Jay Walker's math, it does.
It does. Watch Jay tomorrow, 10 a.m. ESPNU, FCS playoff selection show. Brian Jenkins hoping his Bethune Cookman Wildcats will be part of that show for the 2nd straight year. Went to the postseason last year, losing to New Hampshire in the 2nd round. Prior to that, the Wildcats hadn't seen the postseason since 2003. So hoping to string together back-to-back appearances. Onside kick, the first attempted of the season, and it's gobbled up by Bethune Cookman.
Congratulations to Coach Jenkins. He won a number of football games at Bethune Cookman, but this is his very first win in the Florida Classic.
A game that he watched as a youngster with his uncle, who was the security detail for Bethune Cookman here at the Florida Football Classic. And now he's the champion coach of this game with just 13 seconds to go and his team up 26-16. That should be the final snap. Great sportsmanship exhibited by our student athletes throughout this football game. The game ball being held high by the winning coach, Brian Jenkins, and his Bethune-Cookman Wildcats, the champions in 2011 of the Florida Football Classic.
The way they play defense, this is a team that if they do get into the playoffs with the defense, they can really cause some trouble and do some damage depending on what type of draw they would receive.
Again, we'll find out tomorrow, 10 a.m. Watch Jay Walker on that selection show for the FCS playoffs on ESPNU. Will the Wildcats go back for a second straight year? They come up with a great performance in the second half after leading 10-3 at halftime. Score 2 touchdowns in the third quarter and pull away from the Rattlers, who never quit, right down to the last second as the two coaches exchange a handshake and some commentary at midfield after a very hard-fought game. And our thanks to those coaches for being so generous with their time throughout the week, and congratulations to all of the players involved in our game this evening. So once again, our final score, 26-16, Bethune-Cookman. 30 for 30, Tim Richmond to the limit is coming up next. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Jay Walker and our entire crew, I'm Tom Wormy. So long from Orlando, Florida, and the Florida Citrus Bowl. 26-10, the Wildcats on top of the Rattlers in 2011.